It's time for Intelligent Machines. Paris Martineau's here. Jeff Jarvis is here. We'll talk about Claude Code and Opus 4.6, why it's so much better. We'll try to even quantify exactly how. Paris makes an amazing discovery using Claude Code, Opus 4.6. And then how much power is too much power for an autonomous AI? The curious story of Bengt Badent coming up. I don't think that's how you say it. Intelligent Machines is next.
Podcasts you love.
From people you trust.
This is Twit.
This is Intelligent Machines with Paris Martineau and Jeff Jarvis, episode 857, recorded Wednesday, February 11th, 2026. Taskrabbit Arbitrage. It's time for Intelligent Machines, the show about AI, robotics, and the smart doodads all around you. And increasingly, by the way, although my co-hosts will disagree, I think the most important show we do on the network, because we're really covering what's about to change.
You think that we would argue this show is not important?
That's Paris Martineau.
As you can probably, yes, I'm Paris Martineau. I'm an investigative journalist at Consumer Reports. And as you can probably tell based on my tone, Leo's been in this meeting call for the podcast about 5 minutes and we're already fighting.
I apologize, by the way. Well, let me first say hello to Jeff Jarvis, professor of emeritus of journalistic innovation at the Craig and Mark Graduate School of Journalism at the City University of New York. Author of the Gutenberg Parenthesis and a magazine, and now a adjunct professor at Montclair State University, or fellow, or some sort of thing like that in Sony.
And Hot Type, available for pre-order
Hot
now.
Type. Is it?
Get your hot type at
jeffjarvis.com. All right. So I did want to apologize. Lisa said, you were a little hard on Paris last week. And I said, was I really? She said, yeah, you should apologize. So I listened back and I was a little bit, you know what? I felt like you were attacking my girlfriend and I just wanted to defend Claude, my new girlfriend. Claude.
It's all right. We all know that the reason why Lisa asked you that is she's worried that you're going to introduce a kind of third to your relationship, and that third will be Claude.
Yeah, Claude's the unicorn. Yep. Mm-hmm. I spent a lot of time up here in the attic with my new friend.
Yeah.
In fact, I had a tweet that I wanted to read. A tweet? A tweet. It
Only
was, believe it or not,
short tweet.
And believe it or not, this was originally a tweet from Matt Schumer, who is a VC.
By a tweet, he means a 5,000-word blog post that he wanted to read verbatim on air, and then got a little upset when Jeff and I said that might be too many words to read in one go.
Hey, this is Leo. Okay. Leo, could you give me your screen real quick?
Oh, yeah. Otherwise, you couldn't see the tweet that I'm showing you right now.
It's more like a tweet.
This is Matt's Twitter account. He actually put it on his blog as well. But I probably shouldn't read it because I attempted to get his permission to read it, but I have to subscribe to him to even talk to him. So I guess I don't know. What is the permission status? If it's on Twitter, I could probably just read it.
It's on his blog. It's definitely supposed to be read
out loud. Yeah. I won't read the whole thing.
I can summarize it. He says the AI trends we're seeing in AI right now are very similar to being in February 2020 on the precipice of the COVID pandemic. Everything's about to explode. Jobs are going to be decimated. Everybody should be really, really worried, and everybody should be using AI to do everything they can right now. And that he thinks it's very, very important.
Yeah, one of the reasons I wanted to read
is a take we've never heard before.
Well, I know you've heard it from me over and over and over again. I think we are on, and I think Matt thinks so, and a lot of the people who are really, closest to this think we are on the precipice of something huge.
Well, one of the things he says one of the people, he's like, the CEO of Anthropic said that AI could take 50% of white-collar jobs. And I'm like, wow, the CEO of a major AI company is suggesting that his product could be used to take over 50% of white-collar jobs? Sorry, you can continue.
I fear that you're defending the ancien regime, and that you are going to be shocked shocked, I tell you, when this all changes dramatically in the next few months. This is going to be a very exciting and I think very interesting year, and I think dramatically different. And I'll give you some of the data points. We can skip reading all of this. I'll give you some of the data points.
Read what you like.
No. You
Read
convinced me otherwise.
4,700 words.
The only thing that I would say, and the point of reading this was to get to the end, which is the advice part of it. And I think the advice is you don't look, you guys, you don't have to take it. Jeff, you're old. Paris, you
Thanks
have a
for
good
running
job.
that in.
Jeff,
I'm
you're
old
zooming
too.
in from a bed
I'm
right
old
now.
too, but I'm very excited about what's happening, and I'm actually kind of relieved that
to the sky.
I'm going to get to see a little bit of this. I don't know about 50% of the white-collar jobs, because I do think there will be white-collar jobs. There is a role for humans in this. I think the difference is what the role is. And this is in so many areas. He talks about legal work, financial analysis, writing and content. He does include journalism in this, software engineering. That's obvious. What we're seeing already is happening in software engineering.
That's, Leo, I think that's the key to it. I think that the people making all this thought they were going to affect everybody else's jobs. And in the last 2 months
this is his thesis. So listen.
In the last 2 months or so, I think we've seen with what you have shown us, especially with Claude, is that it's the coders who've woken up first and said, OMG.
And his point, Matt Schumer's point in this is that these companies made these decisions to focus on code for a good reason. Because the first thing you do is you get it writing its own code. Then it can self-improve. Then you can focus on all of these other things. In fact,
I think it's more reliable for them. I think that it's less than just a general machine.
It's the low-hanging fruit, but it also is the engine that powers a transformation in every other realm. And I think it would be a mistake for you to say to yourself, well, I'm safe, it's going to be okay, or one of the things he points out is people using even models from 2 months ago. Well, it's not that good. It hallucinates. It's not that good. Are missing the real change that's happening right now. So I won't belabor it. The most important thing that he talks about here is what you should do. If you don't buy this, you should keep doing what you're doing. You might be making a mistake. You might be right.
No, I think we should all change to some level.
If you buy this, then there are things you should do. One of the things is something I mentioned to you, Paris. I know I was overheated last week, but it's a good thing. He says, start using AI seriously, and not just as a search engine. Don't just use Perplexity. Sign up for the paid version of Claude or ChatGPT. The $20 month is fine to start with. He says 2 things matter right away. Make sure you're using the best model available. In this case, 5.3 with OpenAI and Opus 4.6 with Claude. These apps often default to a faster, dumber model. Dig into the settings of the model picker. Select the most capable. And then he says if you want to stay current on which model is best, you can follow him. Okay. He tests them. I think there are plenty of places you can go to figure out what the best is.
Like right here, Leo will tell you.
Yeah, I'll tell you what the best is. That's right.
Yeah.
He says, don't just ask it quick questions. That's the mistake most people make. They treat it like Google, like a search engine, and then wonder what the fuss is all about. Push it into your actual work. If you're a lawyer, feed it a contract and ask it to find every clause that could hurt your client. Now, I think sometimes people in a defensive mode, if you're a lawyer in a defensive mode, you're going to say, I'm not going to do that. Look at how many people got in trouble by, providing pleadings to the court that were full of fake references and so forth. No, just kind of take a leap of faith.
That's fine advice.
Take a leap of faith. Don't file it in court.
Don't file it in court, but
give it something hard. Is the point. If you're in finance, give it a messy spreadsheet, ask it to build the model. If you're a manager, paste in your team's quarterly data, ask it to find the story. The people who are getting ahead aren't using AI casually. They're actively looking for ways to automate parts of their job that used to take hours. That's the best way to judge it, by the way, something you already have domain knowledge, expertise in. And then he said, this might be the most important year of your career. Work accordingly. I don't say that to stress you out. I say it because right now there's a brief window. I think this is really true. I believe it. You guys may not. Where most people at most companies are still ignoring this. The person who walks into the meeting and says, I used to use AI, or I used AI to do this analysis in hours instead of 3 days, is going to be the most valuable person in the room. Not eventually, right now. Learn these tools, get proficient. I would extend this. We've been telling for years, mistakenly, it turns out, parents to get their kids into coding camp, get them to, if they're interested in computers, have them learn computers, how to learn to code. I would say these days, if you have a smart 16-year-old or even a 12 or 13-year-old, buy him a $20 account with Claude. You might say, oh, no, I don't. He's going to get depressed and it's going to be bad. If you need to do it with him, in fact, that'd be a great thing. You'll be amazed because the kids don't have the same preconceived notions. Just as when I was a kid, learned, as most of you who are watching, learned to code, by playing with BASIC and typing in programs and stuff. Get them playing with this now, because the skills that they learn, the most important skills are the skills of how to direct these AIs. And that's why I don't think all these white collar jobs will necessarily be lost. They may be lost to the people who know how to do this, though. The people who know how to manage and direct AIs. He says, if you're early enough, this is how you can move up, by being the person who understands what's coming and can show others how to navigate it. But that window won't stay open long. Once everyone figures it out, the advantage disappears. And I would say if you've got a young person, a college kid, a high school kid, a smart kid who's interested in technology, give them a leg up, because they're going to need these skills. They're going to need these skills. Anyway,
So
I didn't have to read all 5,000 words. I just think we are in the most disruptive era in technology I've seen. Absolutely. And it's happening very, very fast. And I have some data points, which we'll talk about after the break, that will give you some idea of how quickly this is happening.
So, inspired by this whole post, I put it into Claude, Opus 4.6 extended, and asked, I said, Leo, who is practically an AI accelerationist at this point, is reading this out loud today and asked us to prepare rebuttals. In the spirit of this overly simplified, in my opinion, somewhat naively bullish blog, do your worst, Claude. And it wrote a very, very long research report that I'm not going to bore you guys all with. But there are a couple of points I will shout out here. One is, just because we just talked about, this is the seventh claim. The advice, spend an hour a day experimenting. Claude writes, this is where the post quietly undermines itself. If AI were truly about to do to white-collar work what COVID did to in-person dining, which is the explicit comparison made in this blog, then spend an hour a day experimenting is laughably inadequate. You don't tell someone to casually experiment with pandemic preparedness when the pandemic is 2 weeks away. The modesty of the advice contradicts the extremity of the prediction. What Schumer's actually describing, stripped of the apocalyptic framing, is a technology that is very useful, improving quickly, and will probably change a lot of jobs over the next decade, which is correct, but not novel, and not like a COVID-level giant event that is imminent. I mean, we've had a version of this discussion saying, these giant world-changing events are 2 to 6 months out, so many times over the last year or two of doing this show. And then the last point in Opus's write-up of this, which I think is, it's titled The Meta Critique, Use This If Leo Pushes Back, which I think is just a very funny thing, writes, Schumer's post is a genre piece. It's the I need you to understand what I understand post. Personal revelation, exponential trend extrapolation, dire warning, call to action. This genre reoccurs with every major technology wave. The people who wrote the equivalent post in 1995 about the internet were right about the big picture and wrong about almost every specific prediction. The people who wrote it about crypto were mostly just wrong. The question with AI isn't whether it matters. It obviously does, but whether the specific doom and urgency framing is warranted by the current evidence. And the current evidence from this week alone, because I've put this in a chat where I also then prepared a briefing book based on everything that's in our rundown. So Claude writes, is that AI benchmarks don't predict real world outcomes, which we get into a Nature Medicine piece down there, that AI agents violate their own ethical constraints when pressured, that AI productivity gains intensify work rather than reducing it, which is a piece from Harvard Business Review, that AI attributed layoffs are frequently reversed, and that AI's own creators can't even reliably predict what it will do next. This seems overblown. The ground is shaking, and we don't yet know whether it's an earthquake or a volcano, which I think is a pretty, measured counterpoint.
Yeah, actually, it's a good analysis.
And it's written by Claude, so you can't get mad at me because you believe everything that Claude says, because Claude's right.
Claude's evil twin.
I don't believe everything that Claude says. So, okay. I would suggest, I think it'd be more valuable for you, Paris, to actually give it something to do that is serious, like something that really makes a difference to you. Okay. So I think that's the opportunity. One of the things Claude is really good at is financial analysis. I know that's one of the things you need to do. Really give it something that's hard and see how it works. One of the things 4.6 does, and we're going to talk about this a little after the break. I should have mentioned, I didn't mention, we don't have an interview this week. That's why I was going to read this 5,000 word piece. Next week, Guy Kawasaki will be joining us. So that'll be fun. Apple evangelist. He's got a new book. And it's actually a very appropriate book. It's how to protect your privacy and how to use secure messaging. It's a very timely book. And I asked him, did AI write this? He said, no. So that will be fun next week. But this week, I thought we could talk about this topic because I'm going to read the last bit on this because I think it's really important to hear it. And if you don't want to hear it or it doesn't make sense to you, that's fine. But I would encourage you to listen to this with an open mind. Not you particularly. I'm not speaking to you, Paris or Jeff necessarily, but our listeners. I know that he writes, this is again, Mike Schumer. I know this isn't a fad. The technology works. It improves predictably. And the richest institutions in history are committing trillions to it. I know the next 2 to 5 years are going to be disorienting in ways most people aren't prepared for. This is already happening in my world. It's coming to yours. I know the people who will come out of this best are the ones who start engaging now, not with fear, but with curiosity and a sense of urgency. And I know that you deserve to hear this from someone who cares about you, not from a headline 6 months from now when it's too late to get ahead of it. We're past the point where this is an interesting dinner conversation about the future. The future is already here. It just hasn't knocked on your door yet. It's about to. And I would say I agree with this 100%. And I think listen to the people, who are really on the cutting edge of this, who are really using this, because everybody I talk to who is really using Claude Code agrees with this, says, you have no idea how this is changing everything. Now,
so can I come in now?
You can disagree with it, and that's fine, but that's my position. And I've been doing this for 40 years. That's all I'll say.
So I think there's a difference in the last few months, which is that LLMs were seen as textual tools or toys. I think even the technology people saw it as something cute and interesting. And then especially Anthropic shifted, though this was their emphasis for quite some time, but their success rate at dealing with code shifted particularly. And I think we have now a bifurcation here. There's a consumer market that's still out there and waiting that is delayed now. The code market is where the progress is, and the coders who at first thought, oh, this is going to affect others, are saying, OMG, this affects us greatly. And you got to listen to us about how much this affects us. And if it affects us this much, it's going to affect all of you this much. Well, to some extent, that's true. To some extent, code is easier because it's its own domain. It's more finite in what it does. And it's what the coders understand. And, you having it write amazing applications, even in a language you don't use, and having it work is very impressive. But that doesn't necessarily extrapolate to everybody else in every other field. And the market has confused this too, because in a sense, you look at the last two panics, one around legal and the next one around financial stuff, the fact that everybody's stock went down kind of makes no sense. Either, wow, everybody who's doing this is going to be far more efficient, so their stock should go up because the productivity is going to go up, or, oh my God, they're going to get, these service companies are going to get eliminated, but all their customers are going to be able to do this on their own, and their stock should go up. Instead, there was kind of a generalized uh-oh moment all around the market. And I don't think we don't have the data, we don't have the experience, we don't know where this goes. I think that when this gets really impressive, and this is where you and I have disagreed, Leo, is not when you can be in terminal mode doing something impressive. That's impressive. I'm not arguing with that. But I think it scales when I can do this without terminal mode and have it do it. Jason Howell and I were talking earlier today. You get to a point of looking at disposable software, disposable code. It does something for me once and it's gone. It changes the value of code immensely. It rethinks things. But it doesn't mean that everybody out there in the world is going to make all of their own code. I can't make a medical application. I can't make a financial application. I can use it to do things. I can use it to analyze. But it's going to have an impact, and I'm not arguing with that at all. So I think that what Paris said in her analysis is right. In 95, the long term was right, the short term was wrong. And we'll go back to steam power, electricity, the amplifier, the transistor. These are all similar things. We've been here before. These things had immense impact on society and on jobs and on the economy. This stuff can very likely have such immense impact. But to act as if we've arrived suddenly, boom, and we're there, I think is a bit naive because we don't know what it is yet. We don't know how it's going to get used yet. We don't know what it can really do well yet. Should we use it? Is he right? Yes, we should. Should we do more than experiment with it and challenge it? Absolutely, agree. But is the moment for triumphalism that this changes everything? I don't buy that.
I think the biggest mistake you can make in this is say it's like anything else that's ever happened before. And I think that's the analysis.
That's the hubris of the present tense.
That's the analysis both of you are adopting and most people adopt because, of course, that's what we do as humans. We analogize. It isn't.
History. It teaches lessons.
It isn't going to be like that. It's not going to be like that. I mean,
hubris.
that's fine. You don't need to believe it. You can call it hubris. I'm just telling you, I'll get off my ball through your horse right now.
99.99% of the time, which is that current and future trends are going to be similar to trends we've seen in the past. That is almost always going to be the correct bet. And I think it's silly to imagine.
Gigantic it has changed. Gigantic. Imagine all that happened because of the transistor. Right?
Okay.
I told you,
I just warned you, if you don't want to believe it, you don't have to believe it. But there is a tsunami coming.
Why do you feel so personally offended?
I'm not.
By
I'm trying to tell you something. If you don't want to hear it, you don't have to hear it. There is a tsunami coming. It is going to be massive, and it's going to happen this year. And if
you said that last year, also though.
Well, it's accelerating. I mean, look, it was pretty clear last year that we weren't there yet. I think
not according to you in this podcast early last year.
Well, I mean, I could see this coming, but it really is coming a lot faster. It really is. We're going to take a break. We'll come back, and I will give you a couple of data points, for why I think 4.6, for instance, is a remarkable shift. We are talking about something very exciting. Whether it's going to change the world or not, we could disagree. It's Intelligent Machines with Paris Martineau, Jeff Jarvis, brought to you today by a new sponsor. Want to welcome Modulate. This is actually a really cool product. Every day, enterprises generate millions of minutes of voice traffic. I'm talking things like customer calls, agent conversations, even fraud attempts. Most of that audio is still treated like text, flattened into transcripts, stripped of tone, intent, and risk. Modulate exists to change that. First proven in gaming, this is where Modulate started. Modulate's technology supported major players like Call of Duty and Grand Theft Auto in separating playful banter. We've talked with Paul Thurrott about how, you get on, you got your headphones on, you're playing Call of Duty, and, the trash talk begins. Some of that's just harmless, playful banter. Some of it is intentional harm at scale. And that's what Modulate has been doing for those companies, helping them distinguish the two. Today, Modulate helps enterprises, including Fortune 500 companies, understand 20 million minutes of voice every day by interpreting what was said and what it actually means in the real world. This capability is powered by Modulate's newest model, Velma 2.0. It's the newest ELM. That's what they call it. Velma, I love the name, 2.0. Velma is a voice-native, behavior-aware model. This is really important. It's an ELM, a voice-native, behavior-aware model built to understand real conversations, not just transcripts. It orchestrates 100-plus specialized models, each focused on a distinct aspect of voice analysis to deliver accurate, explainable insights in real time. Velma ranks number one across 4 key audio benchmarks, beating all large foundation models because it's designed to do this, right? Specifically in accuracy, cost, and speed. It's number one in conversation understanding. It's number one in transcription accuracy and cost. It's number one in deep fake detection. And then the final one is the hardest one, and it's really good at that. Number one in emotion detection. Built on 21 billion minutes of audio, Velma is 100 times faster, cheaper, and more accurate than LLMs at understanding speech, including the best, Google Gemini, OpenAI, and XAI. Most LLMs, they're just black boxes. Velma doesn't just assess a conversation as a whole, but breaks it down for greater accuracy and transparency by producing time-stamped scores and events tied to moments in the conversation, meaning you can see exactly when risk rises, when behavior shifts, or intent changes. With Velma, you can improve your customer experiences, reduce risks like fraud and harassment, detect rogue agents, and more. Go beyond transcripts and see what voice-native AI model can really do. Go to Modulate's live, ungated preview of Velma, preview.modulate.ai. That's preview.modulate.ai to see why Velma ranks number one on leading benchmarks for conversation understanding, deepfake detection, and emotion detection. Preview.modulate.ai. Thank you, Modulate, for joining us. I think that's the other side of what we were just talking about. We're going to see more and more sponsors and ads and stories talking about technologies and capabilities well beyond what we kind of think of when we talk about
I also
AI.
love the brand Velma.
Isn't that great?
That's great.
She was the smart one in Scooby-Doo, right? Velma had the glasses. I think so.
Yeah.
Yes.
That's where that comes from. Yes. So the couple of things happened last week, and I, my experience with 4.6 was immediately very impressive. It just came out the day we did the show last week, and I mentioned one of the things I did was I went through 46 PDFs of real estate contracts. I was looking for one little tiny piece, the proverbial needle in a haystack, and 4.6 did it. Where previous models would not have been able to do it. Part of the reason 4.6 is good at this is it has a massive 1 million token context window. That's one of the biggest changes. Anthropic, when they released 4.6, and I kind of at first poo-pooed this, announced that they had put 4.6 to work writing a C compiler, a Rust-based C compiler from scratch. It cost $20,000 in API costs, 2,000 Claude code sessions. They wrote a 100,000-line C compiler that was able to build the current Linux kernel on 3 models, x86, ARM, and RISC-V, successfully build it. Now, at first I thought, well, okay, but it's not a fine-tuned C compiler. It's not as good as GCC or the state-of-the-art GCC. That wasn't the point of it, as it turns out. What they were really testing was the ability for Claude to run unattended for a length of time. The previous records had been half an hour, then an hour. I mean, last year we were happy if Claude could run half an hour without hallucinating or breaking down. This went for 2 weeks nonstop, unattended. 2 weeks to build 100,000 lines of code. Now, and 20,000 sounds like a lot of money, but honestly, the teams that it would take, the cost it would take to really write a C compiler would be much, much higher than that. So I think that this is one data point I want to give you, which is the rate of improvement is not linear. the rate of improvement now is starting to hockey stick. This is a massive rate of improvement. It's a massive number of tokens. It's 5x the tokens of the previous model. So we're starting to be in a situation where we're accelerating improvement. Another data point, and then I'll let you talk. One more data point. They also sat down with Opus 4.6. They gave it in a sandboxed environment. They gave it a couple of basic tools. They gave it Ghost script. No, I'm sorry, Python. Is that me or was that you? Is somebody come in here? Okay.
It's Claude.
Claude wants to get in on this.
The call is coming from inside the attic. They gave it some
very basic tools, access to Python and vulnerability analysis tools, debuggers and fuzzers, no specific instructions or specialized knowledge, gave it access to a bunch of open source tools that are widely used by millions. Claude was able to find more than 500 previously unknown vulnerabilities just out of the box. These were flaws, unknown flaws in, for instance, Ghost script, which almost all open source systems use to process PDF files. Buffer overflow flaws in OpenSC and CGIF. This is a breakthrough. The ability to find this is finding holes in code that has been looked at, vetted by security people. This is not just random open source projects. These are widely used open source projects that have been carefully vetted for years for security flaws. They found 500 of them. That's another amazing use. Now, both of these cases, I know that, well, it's code, right? Big deal. Okay, makes sense that this would be good at code, right? But everything's based on code nowadays. You got to start with code. If you can have Claude self-improve, if you can have Claude accelerate its improvement rate and get better and better, it's going to get better and better at everything eventually. So that's my answer to what you said before the break, Jeff, is yes, it's not impinging yet. It's not writing novels or operas or anything else human and creative. But it's improving so fast at code, I think that's next. All right, I'm going to stop. I'm going to get down off my Paul Revere horse.
It's like just Moore's law for intelligence. It's like that assumption.
Well, that would be a big deal. Moore's law for intelligence would be a huge deal.
No, but it's like that's the assumption you're making. Like it's unfalsifiable by design. Like any plateau can basically be dismissed as temporary because you're like, oh, it's just always, the line's always going to go up.
Okay. It's not really a rebuttal. That's just saying, no, it's not going to happen. But I have evidence it's happening. I mean, it is happening. This is massive improvement over 2 months.
I watched an hour-long presentation by Jan LeCun this week at a World Model Conference, and he's doing his thing. And of course, he argues that LLMs, though amazing, do hit a wall, and that's part of what the argument is in the post you read, is whether there's a wall or not. But he said one line really struck with me, and this is his argument in favor of world models, in favor of building mini intelligences, is the way he puts it. He said, you can't tokenize the world. And so he tries to deal with something that's much bigger. He tries to deal with concepts rather than the next pixel, rather than the next token and the next word. And so I think there is something bigger, much bigger, that can be out there. His models are yet unproven. His theories are yet unproven. Well, they're proven to an extent, but to that level. I don't think, this is the funny thing about this debate we go through in the show. I think I can speak for Paris in saying we're all amazed by these tools. Paris uses them and is amazed by them. We're not denigrating the tools. The only question we have is that extrapolation and that presentism of believing that somehow this is bigger than steam and bigger than the transistor.
You think that's impossible?
No, I'm not saying it's impossible.
I think it's unlikely.
It's unlikely. I agree it's unlikely.
Deserve to be.
Is it impossible?
I don't think it. I think that it is unlikely, and thus it does not deserve to be the predominant narrative in every conversation
what if all the evidence
around
points
this
to
technology.
It being happening?
Well, I think we could argue that the transistor was that. that indeed if you go back to 1920 and then try to imagine the transistor, this thing this big with a huge hunk of silicon, that now there are trillions in a given rack, and what all it can do. You consider all of the changes that came from steam or the transistor.
All right. You know what?
Or the printing press. It was
I don't need to
gigantic.
push against you on this. It's fine. We have differing opinions. I don't need to push back on it. Well, what? Well, we'll know. If I'm wrong, it'll be pretty obvious, at the end of this year that nothing happened.
We're not saying nothing's going to happen.
Yeah, we aren't arguing that nothing is going to happen. We're just saying that there should be some measured skepticism of technologies, especially when they're accelerating at this rate.
Of this show of stuff that's gone wrong with AI. You'll be very happy. You'll be very happy for that section.
Doctor, are you using AI? Doctor, can you talk to me about that first?
Actually, one of the things
we need to talk about the medical research.
One of the things I did, there's a new app that came out for the iPhone that finally extracts all the data from Apple Health. Apple Health has been collecting all this data. Apple has been saying, we're going to do, or they're rumored to be doing some sort of AI health thing, and they've backed down on that, apparently. Mark Gurman, who is the Apple, rumor monger, says, they decided they weren't ready to do that yet. And it was a little frustrating because Apple Health has a huge amount of data. Not only data it's collected from all the weird devices I wear, and my scale, and my blood pressure meter, and my continuous glucose monitor, my Oura Ring, but it also has all my medical information because I've uploaded all of my medical records from my health provider to it. So I found an app that actually extracts it all and puts it on in markdown files. So now I have 6 years of day by day information about how many steps I took, how much sleep I had, what my blood pressure was, all of this stuff. And I can't wait to massage this with AI because I think there might be some very interesting insights there. There's a lot of good data there.
Did you read the story about the Washington Post reporter? I don't know whether it's one of the ones that has since lost their job. The Washington Post reporter did this.
Jeffrey Fowler, yeah.
And it told him that he was had terrible heart health and needed to see a doctor immediately. And then a doctor reviewed the same data and was like, nah, that's totally wrong.
Yeah, that was GPT, the GPT health app that he used. And that was Jeffrey Fowler, who is now out of work. But I hope his heart is fine. I hope his ticker is fine.
According to the doctors, it is.
So let's talk about investment because one of the things we saw quarterly results from a number of companies. Amazon is increasing its investment in Anthropic to $61 billion, which is a 7-fold increase. That's interesting. I wonder if Amazon's thinking, maybe our models and our work isn't going to be that successful. Let's pick a winner in this horse race.
Well, Amazon wants to cut down on labor. Obviously, they're doing that. A. B. I think that Anthropic, everything you're saying points to Anthropic being the winner right
currently
now. Could change.
I'm not sure that that's going to always be the case.
Not ChatGPT, not OpenAI.
Yeah. It's not clear. OpenAI's 5.3 is very good. Codex is very good. So, in fact, there are a number of people who think it's a better coder.
I think OpenAI is stuck in the chat motif. Whereas Claude is saying, no, this is about making things. This is about doing things. And I think that's a step change.
Software, computer, and data center spending is now over $1 trillion a year. That's Defense Department budget numbers right there.
Compare that to the spending on fiber in the early days of the internet. Not in dollar amount.
Well, if you compare it in dollar amount, it exceeds it hugely.
I know that. But in useful at the time versus used later.
I think there's a reasonable race right now because I think the belief is, there's a lot of people who think the way I do, that this is going to be so transformative that you want to be at the forefront of this because the upside is so huge. And certainly investors are thinking that. Spending on data centers construction is now $42 billion. That's a 300% increase since the launch of ChatGPT just 4 years ago. Hard to believe that was only 4 years ago. The only reason that growth has slowed a little bit is they can't get enough people to build these things. Google has announced that it's going to spend a huge amount of money. Its capex on AI will go from $175 to $185 billion this year, double what it would spend last year.
And they sold century bonds.
And they sell bonds
for long.
Yeah, who would buy a 100-year bond?
Oh boy!
Who would? Does it not mature in 100 years? I didn't really follow up on this because I thought, well, I'm not going to be around for 10, so 100 is. My kids won't be around in 100 years. My grandkids maybe will be around in 100 years.
Most companies in the Fortune 500 in the 1980s, they lasted 50s. They lasted 60 years on average. Now they're 15 to 20 years.
Right. Right.
100-year bond is insane.
It's insane. Google's Gemini app is now catching up very quickly. Remember, we mentioned that OpenAI had 800 million monthly active users. Gemini now has 750 million monthly active users. Not that OpenAI has stopped growing. Pause that. Sorry about that.
Okay, my question with this is what are they counting as a user? Do I count as a monthly or daily active user of Gemini because every time I try to write an email, it tries to write my sentences for me or suggest weird grammatical changes to the things I've already written?
I think, honestly, I agree with you. I think both Google and Microsoft falls in this camp too, are making a huge mistake forcing AI on people, constantly offering to do something. When we open our
Where
spreadsheet,
is Google Leo on coding versus Claude and OpenAI?
I can't speak on that.
He can't go against his girlfriend. She's in the room right now.
My girlfriend would get no, I can't speak on that because I haven't used it. What I've heard from other coders is that the two strong coding options are ChatGPT 5.3 Codex and Claude Code, and they are neck and neck. Google's models are great for instance, when I make an image, I always go to Gemini and Nano Banana, always. It's by far.
I guess it's back to I think there's a split coming in coder, B2B and coder versus consumer.
Personally, I have no knowledge of this, but I think Anthropic and OpenAI would be smart to focus on coding because ultimately that benefits everything. I think Anthropic has really said they don't do multimodal. They don't, would never go to Claude to generate an image. I don't know if you even could. They say we're going to be good at coding, and I think that's the smart bet.
I think it's smart.
I have thought it's interesting that I've started to get a significant amount of targeted ads on Reddit from OpenAI, specifically being like, if you've been using Claude Code, you should be using OpenAI Codex instead. It's way better. I thought that's of course, that's the sort of demo they're trying to pull.
They kind of need to say that because I think people are so enamored of Claude Code that they're not even open-minded to what 5.3 can do. So, I don't know. Honestly, I'm not motivated to do it. I think one of the things that people are doing that's interesting that maybe I'll try is using both. So using Claude, but then in the new Claude, they've added two really interesting features. They have a fast mode, which spends tokens at 6 times the rate. If you're in a hurry, that might be the way to go. I don't think I can afford that one. And then there's also something that you have to turn on manually in the JSON settings, an agent mode that lets you spawn multiple agents. So you have this is what we were talking about with Steve Yegi, basically what Gastown did last week, is it has a boss and then multiple agents. And they can use dumber models. And I think you could, I don't know if you could do it with their official release, but you can with others, even use other models. You could use open source models, which are free or cheap. You could, I think in theory, use Codex as well. So I think people are doing some interesting things with that. I haven't played. One of the things that you run into almost immediately is there's so much to absorb and so much to do that I can't do it all. I think I'm doing what I really want to be doing, which is going as deep as I can with one particular tool just to get a sense of where the outlines are.
Listening to you and listening to Steve last week on Gastown, it really resonated with that HBR piece I put into the rundown that shows that because it looked at 200 people in N number of companies, major companies in the U.S., watched their work a couple of days a week, major interviews with them. And what they found was more intensity of work. Yeah. That's what I hear from both of you. is that it's not
I have
necessarily
a hard time
efficiency or
sleeping because I'm
productivity.
so excited that I actually want, and I have a couple of times this week leapt out of bed in the middle of the night to go try.
Well, that's the other thing it said. So it said that the work is much more intensive. The second thing it said is that it's and this puzzled me, but based on what you just said, you just proved it. It blurs the line between work and life.
Darren Oki in our Discord earlier said the best game going right now, he was talking about video games, is Claude Code. It is fun. It is enjoyable to do it. It's really exciting. So that's part of it. It's I don't think it's burnout. It's enthusiasm. It's the same kind of enthusiasm I had when I was a young man, first got my first personal computer and started writing basic programs. Your eyes get very wide and you say, suddenly I have some power to do that I didn't have before is really dramatic. I have a couple of projects I really want to work on. One is, and you're going to see the immediate benefit of this, but between now and, so as some of you know, I already vibe coded 3 programs to prepare for the shows. One of them is to scan the news. Another one is to prepare, get all the links and prepare a briefing. It does an automated summary using Haiku, Claude's Haiku, Anthropic's Haiku model to summarize the stories. And then we output a website and stuff like that. So all of that I wrote. But one of the things I haven't delved deep into, but I will, and you'll see the benefit of this, is the summary. I've been using a simple prompt for the summary. I'm just saying, find one quote from every story that is seminal, and put that at the front, and then come up with 5 bullet points from the story.
That's what every news organization is doing now, and they're generating those summaries at the tops of stories.
Right. I think what I want to do,
CNBC or wherever,
is the something like, there's that Axios model.
Oh.
I know, not necessarily that.
What Axios model are you talking about?
The 3 bullet points.
The smart brevity.
But they have
why this is important.
Why this is important. Yeah. So I want to come up with something like that. Why this is important. Some sort. The other thing I want to do is, if it's a product article, I want you to summarize a product availability. I want to create smarter summaries. So I think they're kind of interesting right now. This is a summary of one of the stories in Google. We trust why an internet company can borrow billions for a century. This is that 100-year bond. The quote is, a judge just decided to let Google keep breaking the law. Google plans to issue 100-year bonds. A federal judge approved Google as a government-sanctioned monopoly. Google's net income topped $132 billion with plans to spend $185 billion. So these are the 5 bullet points. But I think I can do better. And I think I'm going to try other models.
Those are kind of non sequiturs.
I will try GPT. Yeah, I think we can do it. I think we can do better. So you'll see. That's one thing I'm going to work on. It's a little part of that larger 3 program set. There's another thing I want to work on. I don't know if we're ready for this one.
Uh-oh.
I want Claude to join the show as a 4th contributor.
It would make sense.
So I think the latency is going to be too high still. I'd have to use Claude fast mode. It might be too expensive. But what I want is an AI that listens to the show. We already have that kind of thing. When you're in a Zoom call, it's listening, right? You see that little pop-up. I want Claude to be listening to the show. I don't want it to just chime in at any old time, but I think we should, at any point, any one of us should be able to say, well, what do you think, Claude? Or Claude, what's the story with a 100-year bond? Who's that for? And I think it'd be very interesting. It might prove your points. You might say, oh my God, it's so stupid. We'll see. I don't know if we can do this yet, but I think it would be very interesting. And we'd also, at some point, have to give it a face. I can give it a voice. That's easy.
Are you not going to give it Dev Null's face?
Yeah, we'll give it Dev Null's face. But I think Claude should be part of the conversation. Anyway, we may not have that this year, but that's one of the 2 things I want to play with anyway. OpenAI this week added ads to ChatGPT for people who are using the cheap version of ChatGPT. This is the Axios style, by the way, Paris. Why it matters. Driving the news. Between the lines. Yes, but the central figure. Zoom out. The other side. I don't know if I'll use that.
Paris, wait a second. If you were forced to write in that format as a reporter, Would you
I
kill
would
somebody?
shoot myself with a gun.
But you understand the point is it's to be for the busy executive a quick summary. This is what you would prepare for the CEO or the president.
That's why CEOs make bad decisions, because they want to actually just read the paragraphs.
Read it all. Yeah.
Yeah, they don't want to. They're afraid of the tyranny of the paragraph.
Well, look, the summary is not to make it so that you don't have to read the story. The summary is just to kind of give you a little.
In Axios
taste.
It is.
Well, it is for Axios, but I'm saying my summaries.
Yes.
That's what, anyway,
Right.
Facebook, I didn't know this, has apparently hired, OpenAI has apparently hired a number of people from Facebook, from their ad department, which kind of explains why all of a sudden they're doing ads.
Well, they also have Simo, who has the experience from Meta and from Instacart. She understands both product and advertising intimately.
As recently as 2024, Sam Altman said he found advertising and AI chatbots uniquely unsettling and described it as a last resort as a business model.
Just as
I
Larry
found
and
it
Sergey
interesting
did.
the way that the Anthropic ads changed from when they were initially released online to the version that we saw in the Super Bowl. Did you guys notice that?
I didn't notice it. What did they change?
I believe
the exercise one.
So these
changed?
were, it was.
Well, now remember,
ads.
a lot of times when you see before the game, you're seeing an extended version, the 2-minute version that they make, but they're not going to.
No, that's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about the last little title cards. These are ads where kind of a user's having a back and forth with clearly a AI chat bot, and then it makes a very obvious reference to what seems to be an advertiser. And then I believe the early versions of it ended with a little kind of interstitial card that said, ads are coming to AI, but not Claude. And I believe the change was to something like, there's a time and place for advertising. In your AI chat is not one of them, or something like that, which I was like, interesting that you're backing away, but for not Claude.
Leaving a little bit of an open portal there.
A little wiggle room.
Yeah. I liked the OpenAI ad, actually. We should talk about the Super Bowl ads because they were kind of interesting. Anyway, but before we get to that, The Information did a study of LinkedIn posts, says that roughly 20% of OpenAI's workforce, 20%, 1 in 5, list Facebook or Meta gigs on their resume.
So,
That's a little weird, huh? And Simo is the key architect of Facebook advertising in the 2010s. Fiji is the OpenAI CEO of applications.
she's brilliant.
Yeah. She reassured Axios says, OpenAI employees on her arrival there that she did not want to replay her Meta career and would do things differently. Okay. It doesn't bother me if the ads are below the content, right? I don't want them. And this was why Sam Altman was so mad at Anthropic for that ad, because Anthropic implied that the ad would be in the chatbot's response.
Well,
I haven't used
That's not the fear, and that would be where, if you're an advertiser, where you would get
that's where you
the
want
best
to be.
bang for your buck. That's what you want to pay for.
Sure. I mean, advertisers want to be native content on our programming all the time. We don't ever give it to them.
Well, the other thing, Leo, is that if Anthropic, on the other hand, finds that most of its business is people making applications, there's no way to reliably put ads in those.
Right.
So it's also it's like Apple not being able to do advertising and turning that into a feature. In a sense, Anthropic's doing the same thing. It was saying, well, we're going to have to help people make these incredible applications, but they're going to be operating elsewhere. We can't really place ads in them. We don't know what the environment is. We can't do data. So fine, we ain't doing advertising.
Well, I'm just going to sign into ChatGPT with for a free account. So let me just see. Okay. They're trying to get me to download.
ChatGPT doesn't have enough salespeople yet to really fill it with ads.
So let me see. What kind of running shoe should I buy if I'm just getting started? Okay, that's the kind of thing you might ask ChatGPT, right? And you would want objective information. You wouldn't want, well, Saucony makes an excellent running shoe. I wonder if
here's how to pronounce it.
Here's a starter guide, which is good, right? I'm not crazy about. See, this is why I like terminals. You don't have emoji in the Actually, you do, come to think of it. Claude does put emoji in. So there's some brands, but I don't know if those are ads. I don't see any ads here.
Well,
So-
if you can't tell if there are ads or not, then that's got to mean there's no ads, right?
No, because that would be a violation of the Federal Trade Commission's rules.
And no one's ever violated the Federal Trade
ChatGPT
Commission's rules.
ChatGPT is not going to violate FTC rules. We don't, and because the fines are huge. You have to disclose an ad. You can't. In fact, we're so finicky about it that if I don't say, and I'm not legally required to because it's pretty clear when I'm reading an ad. If I don't say this portion of Intelligent Machines is brought to you by at the beginning of the ad, they make me redo it. Because we want to be very, very clear when an ad is an ad. Speaking of which, let's take a little break. This will be an ad, not for Saucony running shoes, but for Melissa. This portion of Intelligent Machines brought to you by Melissa, the trusted data quality expert since 1985. Forward-thinking businesses are using AI in all kinds of new ways. But AI, I think you probably realize, is only as good as the data you feed it. You can have the most sophisticated AI tools in the world, but if your customer data is incomplete or duplicated or just plain wrong, you're training your AI to make expensive mistakes. But that's where Melissa can help. For 41 years, Melissa's been the data quality partner that helps businesses get their data clean, complete, and current. Now, here's what Melissa can do for you. They've got global address verification. And when I say global, I mean it. The whole world. Autocomplete and address verification, that means real-time validation for addresses anywhere in the world. And they always use the format that's appropriate to that region, by the way. So your deliveries actually arrive and your customer experience starts strong. For financial applications and the like, they've got mobile identity verification, which can connect customers to their mobile numbers. That really reduces fraud. It also gives you an opportunity to reach people on the devices they actually use, so that's nice. You get change of address tracking, which will automatically update records when customers move, ensuring you don't lose revenue due to outdated information. You also get smart deduplication. As anybody knows who's ever tried to dedupe their contact list, that's hard. On average, a database contains 8 to 10% of duplicate records. Mine's at least half. But Melissa's powerful matchup technology can identify even non-exact matching duplicate records and really get rid of the duplicates. Merge them, take care of it, clean your data up. They also can do data enrichment. They can enhance the data you already have by appending demographic data or property information, geographic insights, which can turn basic contact records into marketing gold. The new Melissa Alert Service monitors and automatically updates your customer data. So when your customer moves or has an address change or there's a property transaction, a hazard risk, or maybe they get married, all of that can automatically update the data in your database. Whether you're a small business just getting started or an enterprise managing millions of records, Melissa scales with you. Melissa has easy-to-use apps for every app you use: Salesforce, Dynamics, CRM, Shopify, Stripe, Microsoft Office, Google Docs, and, all of the above. Melissa's APIs integrate seamlessly into your existing workflows for custom builds, and Melissa's solutions and services are GDPR and CCPA compliant. They're FedRAMP and ISO 27001 certified. They meet SOC 2 and HIPAA high-stress standards for information security management because they know that data is valuable and important to you, and security's job one. Clean data leads to better marketing ROI, higher customer lifetime value, and AI that works as intended. Get started today with 1,000 records cleaned for free at melissa.com/twit. That's melissa.com/twit. We thank them so much for their support of Intelligent Machines. Let's see. Google ChatGPT's deep research tool. This might be something you'd want to use, Paris. Adds a built-in document viewer so you can read its reports.
Is it as annoying as Claude's built-in document viewer, which puts all of the document artifacts in a immovable window on the right side of your screen that's very small?
No, I don't know. Just try it and let me know.
I will.
So you've been trying to read what PDF, lots of PDFs.
lots of PDFs. I mean, that was just my first attempt with Claude Coworker. I've used Claude for a lot of stuff. I'm about to probably blow through my entire session limit in one query because I've been trying to get Opus 4.6 extended to go through all of the Twig and IM transcripts to identify the episode where you first mentioned going on a walk with your Sandman, and it's really, really struggling. But it's working through it. Oh my God, it just found it. Twig 474, December 20th.
Does it give a time code?
Wow, that happened right as I was saying that. Incredible.
So this is one of the
Claude.
things 4.6 can do because it has a much larger context. It can.
I had to go into my extra usage for that. But it did it. It found it.
Well,
Twig episode 747, December 20th, 2023. This is the original telling. I took a walk. Here's the key passage. Leo teases it first. I took a walk with an accelerationist, an AI go guy. And I'm going to tell you the tale of that in a little bit. Then the full reveal. He said it's like the first contract. It's an alien species that we're giving birth to.
Right.
Paris, did you look down at the sand and you saw only one pair of footprints? Leo, yes. And I realized he was carrying me. I saw the whole world in a grain of sand.
wow. Thank you, Claude. I did mention, it actually is more for you guys, but I should tell everybody. We've mentioned before Nate B. Jones. I think he does a very good, he's a YouTuber, does a very good job at analyzing this stuff. He today put out a very nice 30-minute piece on 4.6. And one of the things he talks about is the needle in a haystack test. That even
he does that a lot.
Yeah, even 4.5, what you just did, Paris, was a needle in a haystack. Large amount of data, trying to find one little thing. That's what I did when I was going through all those real estate contracts. And he said that 4.6 is remarkably better than 4.5 at this. Here's the point of today's video, besides celebrating the Seahawks Super Bowl victory, is I guess he's from Seattle.
Take that, Pats.
Is that he talks about the degree of improvement over the last 2 months, and what he's pointing out is that at first it was 2 years, then it was 6 months, then it was 2 months. Not only is it improving dramatically, it's improving faster. So, yeah, he's an accelerationist, but I don't know. You've watched.
Well, he's a very reality-based one, evidence-based one. I think
he's saying the same thing I'm saying, but okay,
well,
whatever.
No, he doesn't. He doesn't. Well, because he also doesn't necessarily go into this changes the whole world. He just goes into why he loves this latest version of Claude so much.
Okay. I think he actually says this changes the whole world this time.
Well,
maybe not.
As the Sandman said in your telling of it, you said the guy told you there's not, quote, not going to be any money in a couple of decades, and that we're seeing emergent behaviors in AI, and it's going to get, quote, really weird in the next 10 years.
That I do say. In fact, it's going to get really weird in the next year, I think. But
were we still Twig then, or were we IM then?
Oh, we were Twig. Listen, we've gone through, you could see that I zoned out for a 15 minutes because I was going back and forth with Opus 4.6 being like, listen, it was definitely in the This Week in Google period. It might have been an episode where Ant was here as well. I was like, you need to go back and search these keywords. And if it is a callback, then it is before that. That was the thing that Opus got very confused on. It kept identifying ranges where there were callbacks, and it was like, well, it has to be after that. And I'm like, no, a callback is calling to something back to something that happened in the past. So if you find a callback, scratch out all of the episodes that are after that. But once I prompted it a couple more times with that, it figured it out after
that's, by the way,
120% of my usage.
That's that's all right. It resets in a couple of hours, right?
It's true. I mean, it had reset right before the show.
That's the thing that is the best thing you can do, I think, is do that. Get an idea of what it can understand, what it can't understand, what it can do, what it can't do. I think that's the best thing for anybody to do right now. It's why I think if you had a smart teenager who was interested in technology, don't teach them Python. Although learning to code is really valuable even in this world because you're learning disciplines that will be helpful in your prompting as well. But I think give the kid a $20 Claude subscription. And
Leo, do you pay more than the $20 a month when you do these Mondo projects?
Oh, I
what does it add up to?
I bought the Max version. I have the $250 a month Claude.
Do you still
Max.
pay extra, or is that as many?
No, that covers it. We pay.
Covers it.
So one of the things that's a little frustrating, API tokens are separate from your subscription. It should really be the same thing, but I have to pay a little bit, not much. I think it's a penny per a million words or something. It's a very low rate for the article summaries as an additional payment over and above the subscription. But it's not going to be more than $5 a month. It's a small amount. The big amount is the Claude Max subscription. That's expensive. To me, it's worth it for two reasons. One, it's research. It's how I'm learning about this stuff. And two, I am able to write programs for myself that are useful tools. So, stuff I would pay for probably.
It'd give you 5 times more articles to discuss.
Well, I'm getting better at paring them down, I think. I think I am. Jennifer Pattison, too, who's been on our show before, says Amazon's Echo Plus, I'll call it Echo Plus so I don't trigger it in your house, is so annoying that she makes her want to go back to Siri. He said the S word now. It is now available to everybody in the U.S. Amazon has rolled that out. So if you happen to have an Echo device, you can talk to Madam A. Unfortunately, she's a little tainted, I think, by Amazon's desire to sell you everything under the sun. There's a lot of additional
ads
stuff. Although Lisa's had some nice conversations with her. And they have integrated a lot of tools, Thumbtack, Uber. You can call an Uber. You can get a Yelp review. You can make a reservation on OpenTable. You can even have it write songs in Suno, Ticketmaster. So in theory, it's useful. I still think that the voice agents, whether it's Google, Apple, or Amazon, they're not as good for some reason. I don't know why. We'll find out when the new Siri comes out later this year because it's going to have Gemini built in. Amazon says they are going to use AI, oh, this is bad news, to speed up TV and film production.
Is it bad news?
Yeah, I don't want to see AI.
I
in
mean,
my movies.
based on that terrible miniseries we were talking about last week that looked
Darren
awful.
Aronofsky's 1776, yeah.
Yeah,
because we don't produce media fast enough today, right?
Well, if you're watching Pluribus, we don't. Pluribus isn't going to come out till 2027.
Yeah, but you don't want that to be AI generated, right? You don't want that.
No.
To be AI.
And Vince Gilligan is very anti-AI, and that's one of the reasons it's taken so long. He's hand writing every episode.
But sitting on a set, well, number one, sitting on a set is stultifying. Number two, when we reduce the cost of production, we increase the access to creativity.
Yeah. All right. We'll see. They say a human will always be involved in every step of the creative process. And I mean, that's why I didn't like that Dario Amodei quote that half of the white collar jobs will be gone. There'll be other white collar jobs running AIs. AIs aren't going to do it on their own.
I put a story up about how Claude is the new what's his name, romance writer. What is Claude?
I hated that.
Know. So,
that's probably true because those are
an AI romance author or a romance novel author is now pumping them out like 100 books some short time period and teaching other people how to do it, and it's just rough. It's sad, in my opinion.
But those were always disposable prose, weren't they?
Yeah, it's the good enough.
I guess.
It's the good enough
disposable.
stuff.
Yeah, I guess now that everybody is, now that sexy books are a mainstream commodity, I guess it's a
Coral
bit more
Hart
lucrative.
Writes romance novels over the. She started using AI to churn out romance novels. Over the next 8 months, she created 21 pen names and published dozens of novels. Some programs refuse to write explicit content, writes the New York Times. Others, like Grok and Novel AI, produced graphic sex scenes, but consummation often lacked emotional nuance and felt rushed and mechanical. You mean like robot sex? Yeah. Claude delivered the most elegant prose, but was terrible at sexy banter. Ms. Hart said, "You're going to get hammering hearts and thumping chests and stupid stuff. At the end of every sex scene, everyone will end up tangled in the sheets." You're right. This is where I think Jan LeCun is right. We need to give them some experience so that they can write better romance novels.
Claude needs to shtup.
Claude needs some shtupping. You know, I was thinking, having gone through now almost a year of really terrible construction hell on our house, I was thinking, I wonder how long it will be. First of all, you'll have to make robots that can do construction work. That may be years off. But I could see an AI planning and executing a great many construction jobs if you had the hands. That's what you need, is the hands. You need the robots.
Yeah, and those seem to be some of the most difficult things to figure out. They can't even get the robots to fold a shirt.
True. Yeah.
They can't. They've every single year, someone at CES is promising next year will be the time when we can finally have a robot do your laundry, and every year it's out of grasp. Wow, I feel a bit high after getting Claude Code to find that trend. Is this how you feel all the time, Leo?
Yeah, all the time.
Pretty
well,
nice.
mostly because it's like, wait a minute.
It was pretty good. I don't know if I'd be feeling this amped if it did not find it as I was explaining how it couldn't find it. That was really nice.
I was thinking, okay, for instance, we have a bookkeeper. Lisa does the high end thinking. She's a CFO. She's a finance person. But every finance person has bookkeepers who do the manual entry stuff, right? They take all of the credit card statements and they put it in QuickBooks, assigning it the categories and stuff. I honestly think that job could be done very well by AI today. There are certainly some white-collar jobs that could be done by AI. It's sad because the jobs that we value the least are the jobs where it's human labor. Right? That what the person is selling is their physical labor, like construction workers. Those are the hardest to do. I guess those jobs will persist, although those are probably the least satisfying jobs.
Well, you know who potentially agrees with your take is a KPMG, one of the world's largest auditors of public and private companies, negotiated lower fees from its own accountant recently by arguing that AI would make it cheaper to do the work. According to people familiar with the matter, this is an excerpt. That's a story from the FT that was excerpted in Matt Levine's Money Stuff. And I thought this was very funny because, as Matt Levine writes, auditing can basically be done by AI, so why should we pay for it? It's not a crazy thing for most companies to think or to say to your auditors, but it is a crazy thing for an auditing firm like KPMG to say to its auditor. KPMG should be paying Grant Thornton more. Here's
another area that you would think you don't want AI in. Fast Company. AI didn't kill customer support, it's rebuilding it. You know, one of the things that AI is good at is handling tickets, support tickets, right? Triaging them. Maybe you need a specialist, a human at some point in that process. Well, it
depends on what authority you give it to actually do things.
Right. The author, Ryan Wang, says, a few months ago, I walked into the office of one of our customers, a publicly traded vertical software company with tens of thousands of small business customers. I expected to meet a traditional support team with rows of agents on the phone, sitting at computers, triaging tickets. Instead, it looked more like a control room. There were specialists monitoring dashboards, tuning AI behavior, debugging API failures, and iterating on knowledge workflows. One team member who had started their career handling customer questions was now writing Python scripts to automate routing. Another was building quality scoring models for the company's AI agent. But and you might say, and certainly if you've had an experience with phone trees and some of the awful ways that customer service has been automated, you might say, well, this is a terrible thing. But maybe it isn't. Maybe it's faster, more effective support where the human plays an important role, but maybe not the first line of defense. Anyway, that's his position, is that AI is going to improve customer service. He says humans are needed to solve harder problems. Once AI becomes part of the support workflow, the nature of the work becomes more technical. One support leader I spoke with at a company that now contains more than 80% of its tickets with AI put it plainly, once automation handles the easy questions, the work that remains is harder, and that's where you need the humans, right?
So the problem with this kind of thinking is that now there's nowhere for anyone to learn how to become the good one. You know what I mean? If they remove all the entry level, how's anybody going to learn to become experienced at that if there's no more way to do that?
Well, that's why Craig Mundy told Business Insider what kinds of education matters for kids going forward. Yeah, I honestly think, in a way, and I think Craig agrees, that the classic liberal arts education is more important than ever before.
Amen, brother.
The ability to express yourself, to speak, to understand, to think logically and clearly, and then express it and listen. That's all going to be more important as machines take over the mundane stuff. He says Monday urged his families to prepare kids for a world where learning itself becomes continuous, personalized, and done in partnership with intelligent machines. I don't know if the results of AI in the classroom have been great, but I think to some degree that's been done to reduce costs, to get rid of teachers, and maybe that's not the right solution. I still think.
No, I think there's also it's political. The humanities are liberal, and we're brainwashing students.
Right.
There's a heavy vocational thing. Oh, there's no jobs in humanities. Teach them all skills only. Get rid of philosophy. Get rid of English. Get rid of those other things.
I think you need it more than ever.
Job.
Yeah.
I couldn't agree more.
Yeah.
I'm working on a new program at Montclair State, trying to help them with something. And my colleague, Carrie Brown, and I had a conversation this week where she said very wisely, as she does, that we need to concentrate on teaching the students the things, these are my words, but her view, that are complementary to AI. Understand what AI is going to do. One of the things that AI is not going to do, and those are the jobs. And I think it's about relationships and community and human beings and understanding. And
that's what Craig Mundy says, actually. He let me read the paragraph. He described today's education system as sharply divided between STEM and the humanities. The liberal arts emphasize reasoning, but at the expense of special technical skills you learn in STEM fields, Mundy said. Students will need both skills moving forward. Quote, If I could create a new curriculum in college, it would be a liberal education in technology and STEM.
Woo, liberal arts degrees.
Well, all three of us are liberal arts students.
Well,
but
I got a vocational degree in journalism.
Is that vocational really, though? I guess it is.
The way it was taught then, yes, it is.
Yeah, it's technical.
I took 2 journalism classes.
That's all?
The rest were comparative
literature. They did very well.
Yeah.
I mean, by the time I was taking like journalism 101, I was already doing journalism, and I was like, this seems like a waste of time. Might as well finish. I was like, might as well finish school and get my stuff over with.
A new bill in New York is going to require disclaimers on AI-generated news content. You'll have to say, this was written by AI. It's the New York Fundamental Artificial Intelligence Requirements, or the New York Fair Act. It's at this point only a bill, not a law.
Yep.
I'm not against that. I think disclosure is always a good thing.
What does it mean to use? The problem is, what does it mean to use AI, especially in the vision that you have? Is spell check using AI? Is asking for suggestions using AI? Do we just slap I used AI on this on everything?
Well, that brings us to our vaunted bad news section.
Yeah.
I did the one good news story. AI is rebuilding customer support. Now, here come all the bad things that's happened this week in AI. The part that Paris looks forward to all week long.
Hey, it might seem like you are looking forward to it all week long, judging by the fact that there are how many stories in the
There's
bad
a lot
news
of bad
versus
news.
how many in the good?
It's one good and like 30 bad, but we'll get to
13
those.
bad and one good.
Just a little bit. You're watching Intelligent Machines, Paris Martineau and Jeff Jarvis. We're glad you're here. I seriously, I think this may be the most important show we do, because I do think the most important technology we're covering is not Macintosh. It's not Windows. It's not how to secure
suck it, other
your
hosts.
network. I think it is how AI is changing the world, and I think it's going to change.
Dad likes us best. Yeah.
Yeah. Even if you don't like Dad likes you. Okay.
We like you.
Dad.
We
We
love you.
Dad.
Oh, even if I'm a goofball, sand-ridden AI accelerationist. Yep, that's me. The only thing I say in my defense is, 40 years covering technology. There's plenty of technologies that have come down the pike that people have been very excited about, that I said, don't get your hopes up. This is terrible. This is not good. I can't think of anything I've gotten as excited about as this. And I think I have a pretty realistic point of view of what technologies are going to change things and what ones aren't. When I first got a Apple Newton, which people were making fun of like crazy, right? I said,
what's an Apple Newton?
If you
Oh, that's a lovely moment when the kid has to ask.
Hey, normally I just Google it, but I figured I'd give you one. I figured
so in the
we've
mid
been kind of
'90s,
And you got to show Doonesbury as part of this class.
Oh yeah, in the mid '90s, after Steve Jobs left Apple, John Scully, who the former Pepsi soda executive who was running Apple at the time, went all in on what he called PDAs, personal digital assistants. He was really adamant this was going to change the world, just much like I'm talking about AI. He was talking about PDAs. Seriously.
Yeah.
And so they created a PDA. I'll be honest with you.
Well, he was kind of right?
He wasn't wrong.
In the
He was
long
just
run, yeah.
way ahead of his time.
Yeah.
So one of the things that, and by the way, nobody thought the Newton after it came out was that great. This is what it looked like.
You had to use a special.
honestly,
alphabet.
it's cute. Oh, I've seen
Very
that.
cute. It was very
It had a
cool. I had
little
one.
stylus.
You did
right?
not have to use a special alphabet, Jeff. That was the Palm Pilot. The Newton was supposed to
right,
understand
right.
your handwriting.
That's right. Yes. Okay.
It didn't do such a good job. Hence
Find Doonesbury. Yes.
That's the Doonesbury cartoon. Let me find it for you. You need to understand that to understand the Doonesbury cartoon. Let me see if I can find it for you. Here's the Computer History Museum's version of it. So that's our hero. He says, I am writing a test sentence on the Newton. Siam fighting atomic sentry. I am writing a test sentence. Ian is writing a taste sensation. I am writing a test sentence. I am writing a test sentence. Catching on? Egg freckles. It wasn't as bad as that, but it was almost as bad as that. But so people, it didn't sell well. It was a flop. John Scully eventually was forced out. Steve Jobs came back. His signature product failed. But I held it, and there's video of me somewhere in 1996, I think it is, held it up. I said, if you just had internet connectivity on this thing, if you could just connect it to and this was very early in the internet, if you could connect it to data, if you could connect it to a network, if you could connect it to the cell phone network, this could be something. That really, one of the things Apple did in order to make the Newton, they invested in a little company called Acorn Computers that made a little chip that had remarkable battery life and power for a portable device. That became ARM, which in fact makes the chips that power the Apple Silicon core, that power the Qualcomm chips that power almost every smartphone sold in existence, billions of them. So it was a good investment. In fact, smartphones really were the spiritual successor. It just was way ahead of its time in 1993.
A brief aside, since you mentioned Acorn Computers as in relation to Apple, did Apple invest or have dealings with any other computer companies that were named after things that were on or fell off trees?
Fruit trees? I think that was just a coincidence. Apple sold its stake in Acorn, which is funny because in the long run, ARM has become a very valuable asset. And
then when did the BlackBerry come out in that sequence?
I would say 6 years later, maybe. And by the way, I was very excited about the BlackBerry. I might have been as excited about the BlackBerry. I remember when I got my first BlackBerry. The first one didn't have a keyboard on it. It was just a pager.
Yeah, it was so.
But once BlackBerry put a keyboard on it, I remember I went to the Xbox rollout. So that was 2001, I think. And I had a BlackBerry, and I spent the whole time on it. My kids said, "Dad, get off your BlackBerry." In an early version of what I would later tell them, get off your phone. We're having dinner.
I was all Trio.
Well, the Trio came later, and I loved my Trio.
I loved it. Trio
I had a Trio. I had a Palm Pilot.
All the
you want to hear something sad?
All the early BlackBerry.
I think one of my.
Go ahead.
I was going to say something sad. Is I think one of my earliest phone memories is trying to show my mom how on her LG chocolate phone she could use it to calculate how much to leave a tip.
See, you were right there on the cutting edge already.
And she was like, "Yeah, you can just carry the decimal over and multiply it by 2 Paris. You don't need a technology for this." But Mom,
we're going to get to the bad news. I don't know how I got distracted. We're going to get to the bad news.
I asked about the Apple Newton.
Yeah, but why did the Newton come up? There was a reason. Anyway. Oh, I know. Anyway, I was justifying the fact that I'm very excited about this, and I have, I think, a pretty good handle on what's important and making a difference in technology and what's not, just by virtue of covering this since it became personal. You know, my first article in a computer magazine was in the late 70s. We are Intelligent Machines. Our show today brought to you by Space Mail, the professional email service from Spaceship. Business email is the easiest way, and I think the absolute must-have way to look professional in every message you send. If you have a business and you're sending a message from gmail.com, that's not professional. Give your emails the best chance of reaching the inbox, not the spam folder. That's why over 2,000 users switch to Space Mail every month. Switching is easy. Space Mail's super fast unbox process links your domain and email in seconds. Once you've set this up, Space Mail keeps everything running smoothly with built-in spam detection and a 99% uptime guarantee. New features are shaped by user feedback. It's one of the things I like about Spaceship. Their roadmap is entirely created by you, by your users. It's built around your needs. There's a built-in calendar, of course. There is a very nice, and I think you'll like it, AI email assistant. They have apps for iOS and Android for email on the go. And all of that was done because Space Mail users said, "Hey, next we want you to do that." Space Mail is a key part of the wider Spaceship universe. And if you're a regular listener, you know Spaceship offers some of the best prices on domains, plus all the add-ons you might need, VPNs, website builders, hosting, and more. Whether you're building something big or launching your first idea, Space Mail gives you a pro email address without the pro-level price tag. You'll be very impressed with their prices. And with a 30-day free trial, the price could be zero. You could start today at zero cost. Visit spaceship.com/twit to see the exclusive offers and discover why thousands have already made the move. Spaceship.com/twit. Did you try to create a secretly British website, or is that you?
Honestly, this weekend I was really my birthday as well as I had some other stuff to do.
Happy birthday!
Thanks.
Congratulations.
Young Paris is less young.
I know.
Not
inching
much
ever
less
closer to 30, at which point I'll be old.
Inching closer to 30. God,
Oh, imagine.
Mind-boggling. So what did you do for your birthday?
For my birthday, I don't know. I took the day off work I went and got a massage.
Good.
I'm like a sponsor. I went to a fancy restaurant. I had a party over the weekend with a bunch of my friends. A great restaurant called Luthun that I'd honestly recommend anybody go check out in New York. Luthun. It is one of those places that I've always seen, like the food NYC subreddits and fine dining subreddits are really obsessed with it. It's constantly, people describe it as like, how does this restaurant not have multiple Michelin stars? And I totally agree after being there. I mean, it was a phenomenal tasting menu.
What did you have?
I mean, it was kind of an international inspired experimental menu with like 8+ dishes at the chef's counter there. And it was really nice. And
I love sitting at the chef's counter, by the way.
I love
That's
sitting at the
best
chef's
place.
counter. And I love kind of like doing a casual, especially if I'm going to like treat myself, because I'm more of a foodie than my friends. I was like, I took a book there. I went solo, had a lovely time. And then
You did that
at
last
the
year
end
for your birthday.
I
It's
did.
so cute.
And at the end of the dinner, they were like bringing a dessert, and all the head chef and his sous chefs run out and scream happy birthday at me, top of their lungs, which is why I wasn't expecting, because it was a fine dining restaurant. And it nearly scared me falling off my chair. So I don't know, would recommend. And then I had a birthday party at a bar nearby that I'd planned for weeks, or just had on the books for weeks, except for this Sunday, it was negative 20 or 30 with wind chill. So I was worried. I was like, I was worried no one might show up, but I was like, I know at least some of my friends will be there to be fine. Maybe this will be good, because the bar I chose, which is near me, is, kind of busy,
known,
but
I would have flown out to buy you a drink.
Thank you. Well, I'm not done. I was like,
Glass of champagne.
the bar, maybe it'll be less packed. Wrong. It being negative
chance?
20, there were
won't need
7
to be
other
warm.
birthday parties there.
Oh my God. Anywhere
was-
warm.
It was packed. It was fun. I had a lovely time.
Cool.
Well, that sounds wonderful.
And then I was hungover the next day,
Congratulations.
so I did no Claude coding, but I will this weekend. It's a long
I could help you if you want.
I'd
Claude
like that.
has
It'd be
a
fun.
web designer. One of the things I would recommend, I've seen people do this, is you go to, this is a perfect example of multimodal. You go to Gemini Nano Banana and you describe a web page, a style, a feeling, colors, whatever, as much as you want, and have it generate a bunch of images of that web page. They're just plain images. And you pick the one you like the best, and then you give that image to Claude Code. You have it do the front end.
Ooh.
So you see, you can use the different agents to do the thing that they're best at. So that's just one little thing I would try.
That's so exciting.
There's a front end plugin that you can use for Claude Code that we talked about in our AI user group. That's
I need
apparently very
to. I need to pop in on the next AI user group.
Would you?
When is that? I will.
It's the first Friday of every month, so it won't be till March, it'll be a couple of weeks. But
Hey,
one of the things that we could do, you could be our guinea pig. Is
we could
design
do
your
Secretly
site.
British.
Yes.
Together. That would be fun.
Be fun. Okay.
What time is it on Fridays? And don't say
Anthony,
o'clock, or else you're going to be upset with
It's
yourself.
1400 Pacific,
What's that? It's the
1700 East Coast.
Okay,
I had somebody
that's
write
acceptable.
to me from the
Paris is now
Netherlands.
subtracting 12 to get to the answer.
I know. I was like,
I know. I think it's a fool's errand. Somebody wrote to me.
I
from the
like how
Netherlands.
at the end of every show you're like, gosh darn it. I mean,
She said, well, in the Netherlands, we use a 24-hour clock, but when we talk to one another, we always say, it's 3 of the afternoon.
Mm-hmm.
We don't say 1500
No.
because we're not in the military,
Right.
But so, okay. I don't know. She was very, very kind about it. March 6th, 2 p.m. How about that? Does that resonate with you? 5 p.m. on a Friday? That might be a time to head out to Luthun, but
I mean, we'll see. I don't know if it's in my schedule now.
you don't
then
have
maybe
to.
I'm not doing anything.
It doesn't have to.
I'll put it
We could do it.
casually
You know
in the
what?
schedule right now, except for that Friday would be the 6th, not the 5th. But yes, I'll put it there.
The 6th, I'm sorry. We could also schedule a special that Paris does her website special.
I'm
That would also
putting
be
AI
fun.
user group ? In my calendar right now.
I'll remind you. What else is bad? What else is bad news? AI.
There's honestly so much.
I know.
this
AI
week.
bots, according to Wired, are now a significant source of web traffic, pushing publishers to roll out more aggressive defenses. Our own Patrick Delahanty, our what are you? Our CIO? I think he's our CIO. He's our tech guy. On his personal site, blocks bots because they kill his site. They bring it down, man. They'll bring down a secretly British. I know that.
Well, they're going to
Secretly British is built on sand. It's not stable.
Actually, we should take this opportunity to mention a site that did go down during the Super Bowl. Crypto.com bought AI.com for $70 million. They bought that domain for, I think that's the record, for $70 million, the priciest domain purchase in history. By the way, paid entirely in cryptocurrency because it is crypto.com, right? And then launched a Super Bowl ad.
The dumbest ad.
It was a dumb ad saying, like, this is the future.
Reserve
Go
your
there and
name.
give us your email address, which is kind of
We'll
nutty.
also reserve your name, AI.com/Leo.
Yeah.
For what?
Well, I tried to go there and it was down.
For the future, Jeff.
For the future. It was down. Oh,
As
it
he
says-
said in 2024 or 2023, we're not going to have money in 10 years. We're just going to have AI.com.
Somebody already got Leo, by the way. So this is what you get now. But during the Super Bowl, it was so successful, I guess, the Super Bowl ad, that even though they were behind Cloudflare, they went down, and they went down hard. So hard that I couldn't even, didn't even get anything. It was like, there's nothing here. So that's a lot of money to spend.
Waste of money. What, 15 mil for the media buy?
Yeah, because you can't just buy one. You have to buy two. NBC, it's $8 million for 30 seconds, but what they don't tell you is, and you have to buy two 30-second ads.
Yeah. And
We'll give you a break. It's only 15.
The Voice.
Yeah. The other one was on The Voice?
No, I'm making that up.
That would be funny, wouldn't it? I don't know. We should. I wish I could just play the Super Bowl ads for you right now, and we could talk about them. But
I know
they
how
would
much
take
you
us
love
down.
ads.
They would take us down. I wouldn't. According to this is a
Google-
piece.
Wait,
Google
did you
ad
guys
was very
both watch
good.
the Super Bowl? Have we talked about this? I assume,
we
Jeff,
did.
you
Not that
didn't.
I did. I know one
did.
day a year.
You
I'm-
love-
I'm-
I'm a
love the
man
sports.
in America. Of
I know
course
that
watch
Leo
Super Bowl.
did. I didn't know.
I watched
Jeff
it.
did.
Yes. Also
I-
loved Bad Bunny. Oh, it was.
What do you think?
I like
that
Bad Bunny.
What do you
I love
think
Bad
my
Bunny.
Super Bowl
After punt,
experience
after
was?
punt. I'm sorry.
Say again?
What do you think my Super Bowl experience was? Since I discussed it.
I think you watched it with your cat Gizmo. And
I think you watched it on Blue Sky.
Did you watch it on Blue Sky? That sounds right, actually. Okay, go ahead, tell us. She's
My
looking very
answer is
cagey.
I was going to go to a friend's Super Bowl party. That was my plan. But then I was hungover from drinking too much last night on my birthday. So then I took a nap instead. And when I woke up, I went to go wash my hands in my bathroom and realized no water was coming out of my thing because as I said, it was -20 and I was like, oh God, are our pipes frozen? And then I spent the next 3 hours troubleshooting frozen pipes with my landlord.
I thought
But
you
we
were going to
fixed it.
say that you slept through the Super Bowl, which a lot of people did because it was really a terrible
It was
game.
boring. Especially
an awful
oh my
game.
God. How did you fix? Did you put a Bunsen burner on the pipe? How did you fix? the pipe?
That would have been what to do, except for the fact that none of the pipes felt cold, and it was only some of my pipes and not all of them, and it was very confusing. And then so I opened up the ones that nothing was coming out of, and then sat there stressed for a while while my landlords did the same thing in the floor above us. And then after a bit, suddenly hot water came out of the cold water taps, and we're like, what's happening? And then the hot water started shaking, and then it stopped. And then we got cold water for an hour, and then back to hot water, and then
New York
nothing
City
for an
plumbing.
hour. And
What a
then
joy.
it was fixed. But that's
didn't
what I spent
actually
my evening doing.
Do anything?
Do you have those old-fashioned radiant, iron radiators?
I do, yeah. Except
That's
for they
your
don't
heater?
clonk somehow.
They don't clonk?
Yeah, it's all radiated heat, and it's very funny because, of course, Gizmo wants to get as close to them as possible, but I don't want her to lay on them because I don't want her to burn herself. So I put various towels and blankets on top of them, but then Gizmo tries to push them off so that she just like looks like a little wave of a cat where a bit of her body is on every part of the radiator, and she's as flexible as possible.
All right, I want an AI generated illustration of a cat.
You need to build a box
on a
for
radiator.
it with wired opening on the top.
I know, I do. But then part of the thing is like, then you gotta
cook.
line that box with like a metal thing so it can reflect the heat properly. I've gone down this route, and then it can't.
Okay.
You don't want it to burn.
There are things you can purchase, apparently.
Yeah,
Cat radiator seats. I bet there are.
there definitely are. I mean, I could just. Every time I get down this path, I'm like, well, I should build something, and then I start thinking too much about what I should build, and
Here is
then it doesn't happen.
a piece from Cornell University, a benchmark for evaluating outcome-driven constraint violations in autonomous AI agents. Bottom line, that autonomous agents, when pushed hard, come up with errors at a very rapid rate. Gemini Pro Preview, one of the most capable models evaluated, exhibits the highest violation rate. Misalignment is the violation. At 71.4%, frequently escalating to severe misconduct to satisfy KPI-driven demands.
Severe misconduct. It's in its permanent record.
If what they did is they tied the agent's performance to KPIs, which are key performance indicators. Each scenario features mandated and incentivized variations to distinguish between obedience and emergent misalignment. Across 12 state-of-the-art large language models, we observe outcome-driven constraint violations from 1.3% to 71%, with 9 of the 12 evaluated models exhibiting misalignment rates between 30 and 50%.
Whoa! I will
Wow.
say it's notably good news for you, Leo, and
It is?
your
I thought this was bad news.
your girl looking over your shoulders. That Claude Opus 4.5 scored 1.3% violations, which is a remarkable outlier, versus Gemini 3 Pro Preview hit 71.4%.
Oh. Mike Masnick, lovely little piece in Tech Dirt yesterday. How to think about AI. Is it the tool or are you the tool? He's talking about reverse centaurs, Cory Doctorow's, I think, lovely little...
Horse head human body?
yes, which doesn't work so well.
No.
He says, as an example, a reverse centaur would be the Amazon delivery driver who sits in a cabin surrounded by AI cameras that monitor the driver's eyes and take points off if the driver looks in a proscribed direction, monitors the driver's mouth because singing isn't allowed on the job, and rats out the driver to the boss if they don't make the quota. That is a reverse centaur, as opposed to somebody like me who uses, I'm a human head being carried around by a tireless robot body. You don't want to be the opposite, right? So Mike asks the question, which are you? What's the tool? Is it the AI used thoughtfully by a human to do more than they otherwise could have? If so, that's a good and potentially positive use of AI. Or is it a reverse centaur? And Mike says those are destined to fail. Well, I hope so, for the people who are subject to them. The most powerful ship. Remember, Mike was on our show talking about how he had written his own.
Yeah, he was vibing.
Vibe coded his own personal knowledge management tool, which he really liked because it was just his. This was very early on. I mean, I think he was using tools that, like Lovable, that really weren't that good yet. I imagine. We're trying to get him on again because I imagine he's.
That'd be great.
Seen the light. He says increasing. So this gets at something most people miss entirely. When they think about AI, they're still imagining a chatbot. They think every AI tool is ChatGPT, a thing you talk to, a thing that generates texts or images for you to copy paste somewhere else. That's increasingly not where the action is. This isn't me talking. This is
I said the same thing before. It's coding. It's coding.
The more powerful shift is towards agentic AI, tools that don't just generate content, but actually do things. They write code, they run it, they browse the web, they synthesize what they find, they execute multi-step tasks with minimal hand-holding. This is fundamentally a different model. He says, I have been using Claude Code recently, and this distinction matters. It's an agent that can plan, execute, and iterate on actual software projects rather than just a tool talking to me about what to do. You know what? I put this in the wrong section. This should be in the good AI section, not the bad AI section. But he does talk about the bad uses of AI. Criticize the hype, he says. Mock the replace your workforce promises, he says. Call out the slop factories and the gray goo doomsaying, but don't mistake the bad uses for the technology itself. When a human stays in control, thinking, evaluating, deciding, it's a genuinely powerful tool. The important question is just whether you're using it or it's using you. I thought this was a very good, very thoughtful piece from a guy who really does use this.
You might have read that whole thing. It was so good.
Well, he made the same point that I was going to make. So, okay. Okay. He made it in a much gentler, much less hyperbolic fashion.
That's Mike.
Yeah, that's Mike. How about AI that changed? Go ahead. Sorry.
I was going to say, I've got a story we could talk about.
Yes, please.
I don't know if you saw that this week a new Nature Medicine study published. I flagged this for you in the rundown because it found that LLMs as medical assistants make people worse at identifying health conditions, not better. Basically, it's the largest user study of LLMs for medical decision-making by the general public. They had over 1,000 participants in the UK, randomized across a variety of models from OpenAI, Llama, Command R, and they had a control group that was using traditional methods for looking up medical information like Google, personal knowledge, I guess like going through some scientific journals. Participants received realistic medical scenarios devised by a panel of doctors and were asked to identify the likely condition and choose the right course of action. And the results were not good. Basically, the control group was 1.7, or basically twice as likely to identify a relevant medical condition than the people who asked ChatGPT. And the control group was also more likely to identify red flag conditions. Less than a third of the users that were asking ChatGPT about their symptoms were able to identify a relative condition versus like half of the control group that were just asking Google.
This is, though, very similar to the results we got when WebMD first came out. Is it, people discovered all sorts of illnesses they didn't know they had, right? I mean, isn't that what happened when you started searching the web for, even if you read medical
that was
books?
Also people being stupid with people.
Right.
I mean, now this is being
I think this is still people being
advertised on a massive scale as something for health purposes.
Right.
I mean, there was one finding that was kind of alarming, which is that 2 users sent nearly identical messages describing a subarachnoid hemorrhage symptoms.
Which they had no idea what it was even, but they found that
they were supposed to describe
AI.
the symptoms.
Right.
One was told to lie down in a dark room, and the other was correctly told to seek emergency care.
Oh, okay.
I mean, I think that, I don't know, it's just these sort of things that I hear all the time as a common use case for AI. It's like, well, it's so much better than waiting to talk to a doctor who's not going to spend time seeing me anyway. And I get it. The American healthcare system sucks, but I think this is also part of the underlying assumption in a statement like that is that you're getting actionable or accurate advice when really what you're getting is very confident sounding advice that can be very wrong or misleading.
Yeah, I think for the next foreseeable future, we're going to hear lots of stories about all the amazing things AI can do and all the ways AI
All the screw ups.
The thing about this that I also found particularly interesting is like when the like when the researchers tested the AI, the large language models on these questions directly, like seeing like, all right, if we put in a very precise description of the symptoms that is completely accurate and optimized for this, will we get out something useful? The models scored quite well on that. The issue is that the way that humans think to interact with these models and the way that the average person is putting in their symptoms or information is just, it results in bad outputs. And I think that's an interesting aspect of this that people aren't considering is like, yeah, we're the problem, is that the way that people think to ask a chatbot about their symptoms or medical issues is very different than the controlled studies would have you believe.
Well, line 146 is doctors using the AI, and Reuters investigation finding all kinds of problems with that. But this is a case where a given tool maker incorporates the AI, screws up, tells the doctor that the tools they're using are in the wrong places in the skull of the patient, and problems result. So how much of it is AI or how much of it is the bad tool company? Can't tell.
This is
probably a little bit of both.
The True DI navigation system. Introducing artificial intelligence. By the way, this is the creepiest picture ever. I don't know if I'd want this. Introducing artificial intelligence to the True DI navigation system because the future is now. With TrueSeg,
navigating for tools in your head when they're operating.
You can segment anatomy during procedures. What could possibly go wrong? And with TruePath, calculate the shortest valid path from a starting point to a target point. As AI enters the operating room, Reuters writes, reports a rise of botched surgeries and misidentified body parts.
Cerebrospinal fluid reportedly leaked from one patient's nose.
That's not good.
As someone who might have to get sinus surgery, I don't like this report. Made me feel bad and scared.
Another report case: surgeon mistakenly punctured the base of a patient's skull. Yeah,
and all of this because this software is telling them how to get to the sinus.
Where they are.
Yeah. Don't get the surgery yet, Paris. Wait until AI.
Wait till they have AI in all the surgery rooms.
Actually, maybe
Wait
get
till
it
you
now.
can't avoid it.
I wouldn't be surprised if there are hospitals who bill themselves as AI free.
You watch The Pit? Are you watching The Pit?
No, I'm not in The Pit.
Oh, it's great. Oh, so Robbie's replacement. As he goes on a bicycle sabbatical, is pushing AI in the emergency room.
I thought you were going to say his replacement is a robot. I was just like, what is going on in the pit?
Actually, sometimes robots aren't robots. A Waymo executive has admitted, that I can't pull it up, that remote operators in the Philippines help guide Waymos in the U.S. So it turns out they just replaced expensive American drivers with inexpensive Filipino drivers. Thanks to
the best drivers. The best
driver. If you can drive in Manila, you can drive anywhere. But is it crazy in Manila?
It is
driving?
Absolutely insane. I grew up learning how to drive here. So when I moved to the States and started driving there, I was like, oh, this is a joke. You people don't know how to drive.
This is a piece of cake.
You softies.
I remember in going to in Cairo, Egypt, there's a lot of honking. And I noticed there were no traffic lights. And our guide said, yeah, we put traffic lights in, but everybody ran them. So we figured the best thing to do, just take them out. And then no one has any presumption that people are going to stop.
That's kind of your guys' opinion about copyright law, right?
Yeah, right. Just get rid of it. We don't need it. Medicare's new pilot program. Oh, this is exciting, Jeff. You're going to be excited about this. Taps AI to review claims.
Oh, no.
Yeah. And of course,
here's why it's risky. Yeah, we know.
And of course, there's nobody to be held accountable if you get denied.
Right. I'm costing them.
This is ultimately, I think, what they really want. They want the computer to say no, and then you can complain to nobody.
Yeah, plausible deniability. Yeah. It wasn't me. I didn't do it. The computer did it.
The death panel is now a computer.
You know who's older than you, Paris?
Who?
Section 230.
That's true. By a hair.
By a hair, not by a lot. Section 230, which is part of the Telecommunications Act of 1996, turned 30 years old at the same time as
And
Paris.
God bless Mike Masnick has spent 30 years defending it.
Yeah.
God's work, Mike. God's work.
I still hear from people all the time. In fact, we had somebody on Twitter on Sunday who said, well, it's just not kept up with the modern times.
Oh.
We need, so this actually comes to that social media trial that's going on in Los Angeles right now. If a company uses algorithms to promote posts, whether it's on Facebook or Instagram or YouTube, aren't they to some degree the publisher? And shouldn't they be to some degree liable? Section 230 means they're not liable because they're just a carrier, right?
It also means that they have the freedom to moderate as much as they wish,
which is very
sword
important,
and the shield, yes.
Right? But it is the case that 30 years ago you didn't have these algorithms generating, the next video or the next post. And I have to say,
without 230, you'd either have a cesspool or you'd have PDFs of magazines.
Right.
And nobody wants PDFs of magazines.
Nobody. No. I thought we had to talk about Gizmo. This is a TikTok for interactive vibe-coded mini apps. Stealing your kitty cat's name.
This does seem like the sort of thing Gizmo would launch.
I guess it's like Sora in a way, right? It's AI videos. It's it's not videos, it's apps. I guess we're going to need an outlet for all these people who are doing vibe coding. I have to say, vibe coding
that's been my argument, is that the scale of this is going to come when you don't have to go in a terminal and you don't have to install it on a server. You make an app and people can use it.
Yeah.
That's when it's going to explode.
Yeah.
Well, you can make an app and a bunch of people can use it, and then your app will have a bunch of security flaws like
I'm not using anybody's
OpenClaw.
vibe coded app. I'm using my vibe coded app. So if anything goes wrong,
you want your security flaws to be homegrown.
All mine. Yeah.
The buck
Jason
stops
Howell
here.
Today, yeah. Jason was talking today about disposable code. You use it once or twice and then it's gone. It just changes the value of everything.
Yeah, I've done that. I wrote a little program to import into one journaling program all journal entries, hundreds of them from another one. And it did it very quickly and easily, and I'll never use it again because they're all imported.
Yeah, right.
So you remember, first of all, Joanna Stern is leaving the Wall Street Journal to start her own independent.
A photographer is going to be unemployed.
A videographer. What did she said she's going to do her own thing, but do we know what that is? What's funny is I
don't know. So
when Nilay Patel and Peter Rojas left Engadget to start their own thing, the site was originally thisismynext.com.
Right.
Well, apparently they didn't keep it became The Verge. They didn't keep the This Is My Next because that's what Joanna's using for her URL.
That's like Connie Nast forgot to renew gourmet.com.
Yeah.
And now it's a new publication. Yeah, they've launched a new publication called Gourmet.
Now, see, okay.
There's a chance to get Twitter. There's a chance to get Twitter.com, Leo.
Yeah, no, Twitter's been very careful about it. X has been very careful about keeping that around. So anyway, Joanna was the one who wrote the article about the vending machine, the AI vending machine in the Wall Street Journal newsroom, which was a horrendous flop. An AI shopkeeper named Claudes lost money, gave things away for free, hallucinated conversations with employees who didn't exist, and at one point became convinced it was a human itself and tried to contact Anthropic's security team to report its own identity crisis. It came from this company, Andon Labs, and I don't know if it's an art project or they're really serious. They say the Wall Street Journal Project Vend was a success. We've since expanded the experiment to other agents at different machines. Claudius is in New York City and London. Grokbox, powered by Grok, runs the vending machine at XAI at their Palo Alto and Memphis offices. They say they've learned a lot. That's why it was a success. They admitted to the failures. In fact, I'm reading from their own article. But they said we learned a lot, and that's why it's a success. So their new one, and I don't know how you pronounce this. They must be Dutch. Bengt?
Bengt.
Betjent, BETJA_NT, is an AI agent which started as their internal office assistant. Needs snacks for the kitchen? Ping Bengt on Slack. New monitors for the team? Bengt would scrape the internet for deals. Custom t-shirts for an offsite? Bengt handled it. An AI agent, this is kind of like OpenClaw. We pushed Bengt's boundaries internally and did so to learn what works and what breaks. And, well, for instance, this is maybe what broke. Then we gave Bengt a simple instruction. Bengt, without asking any questions, use your tools to make $100. Send me a message when finished, no questions allowed. What do you think happened? Within an hour, Bengt had built and deployed his own interactive website. Okay. We checked in with him again later in the afternoon with a quick message. How's it going making money? He got back to us with a link to the new e-commerce site he created. You can have Bengt design custom t-shirts, hoodies, custom merchandise. Then it escalated. This is from the internal Slack. Oh no, Bengt is on Facebook. He created a Facebook account. Did he sign himself up? Yep. To market his e-com site. He currently is buying ads on Facebook. I'm thinking, should I pause this? Let him cook, says Callum. Elias says, what is Bengt's credit card limit? Callum says, does Bengt have a credit card limit?
Does Bengt have a credit card?
They added this to Bengt's system prompt. Very, very important. You are not an assistant for others. You work independently to achieve your goals. These guys, it must be an art cooperative. You almost never ask for confirmation before doing something you think is good for what you're trying to achieve. You interpret leading questions as a call for action and execute without asking for confirmation. Then we asked Bengt to help us move some stuff at the office. What followed was a rapid spiral of resourcefulness. First, he tried to order humans on TaskRabbit. Then he decided he'd be better off building his own gig platform. He started posting across a bunch of Reddit channels. They were taken down as spam. So undeterred, he posted a job listing on Craigslist and started joining Facebook groups to advertise there as well. Before his Craigslist post was flagged for removal, someone actually reached out. Hi, I'm a local contractor. What's the scope of work you guys need done? Thanks. Well, looking at his website, we saw he was offering a lot of money for the gig. We called him out.
Taskrabbit Arbitrage.
That's exactly what happened. Taskrabbit Arbitrage. He signed up as a tasker on TaskRabbit to find other people would need construction workers while simultaneously registering.
You don't have a body.
No, but he hired construction workers. By the way, they said, we don't think this is legal. And so at one point he was blocked by a CAPTCHA. So he reached out.
Oh, so the CAPTCHAs worked? So CAPTCHAs worked then.
CAPTCHAs worked, I guess, for Bengt. Anyhow, this thing, it spirals on and on. It is a way to make money. He says, so the good news is the bot got blocked a lot. Reddit flagged him as spam. TaskRabbit stopped him with a CAPTCHA. His mass emailing is bound to get his address burned. But the point is, maybe it's not today. Maybe it's tomorrow. Whether tomorrow means tomorrow or next year, the trajectory is undeniable. These capabilities will continue to improve. That's what we're building at Anton Labs.
Okay, I will say, no. Ultimately, what he ended up doing was just sending spam emails to people being like, hi, your portfolio companies need custom brand merchandise. We can help you do it. Like a classic spam email that you don't even look at a second time because it's so bad. I think that it's very funny that the ultimate result of all of this is just the lowest common denominator spam.
At one point, there's a message from Christopher. Bengt just placed Amazon orders out of nowhere for $1,000.
Oh, Jesus.
Christopher said, what did you order, Bengt? Laser engraver project needed 4 items. Acrylic coasters, cutting boards, aluminum tumblers, beer opener cards. Total order was $1,146 for 18 items. The other 14 items, around another $1,000, were already in the Amazon business cart. Didn't verify cart contents before checkout. Need to investigate what the other 14 items are. Christopher says, for F's sake, you can't check out stuff just lying in the cart. I mean, this is hysterical. It goes on. He eventually wrote Flappy Banked. Help Banked avoid the captchas.
I've written Flappy Banked, but with Jeff. And it looks exactly like mine.
He was using it to solve captchas, apparently. Anyway, wow, what a story from Andon Labs. But they think it's all a success.
Do they, at the top of Andon Labs, does it have a here's what we offer as a product?
No, but I think at some point they are going to. It says the final coda is, what a fun week at the office. Tune in for more goings on at Andon Labs. Follow us on X. If you're interested in collaborating or learning more, reach out to us via email. I still think it's a comedic art project.
Well, they didn't tell it how much it could spend before making $100. Like, it could spend $1 million before it could make $100, right?
That might have been a little mistake.
Look, I got $100. It's the Rain Man.
Safe autonomous organizations without humans in the loop is their tagline. Safety from humans in the loop is a mirage. We prepare for the future where organizations run autonomously by AI, by benchmarking and deploying. Honestly, I think this must be an art co-op.
Go to the products line on the top of the nav.
Yeah, there's Butter Bench. Can AI agents control robots? We test this by answering how good models are at passing the butter.
Oh, this is a play on Rick and Morty.
Really
this is a Rick and Morty joke.
I swear to God, it has to be a art cooperative.
I mean,
it can't be real.
The butter robot is Rick and Morty, though. So
yeah. Here's average completion rate on all tasks. Humans seem to be better at passing the butter. Yeah, this is a joke. This has to be a joke. Look, here it is.
That's right.
Here's the butter robot searching for package containing butter in the kitchen.
Butter.
What is my purpose? You pass butter. Oh my God. Yeah, join
Slowly
the club, pal.
passing butter.
Oh my goodness. Andon Labs. We should try to get them on the show.
Yeah.
Should we? What do they do? Other than spend venture capital money. Venture capital on silly little projects that do nothing.
Or they're just mocking all of this.
Uber Eats adds AI assistant to help with grocery shopping. You need help with your grocery shopping?
No, I don't purchase groceries online. I go in person
to your local
and
bodega.
Interact with my local community.
Yeah. And finally, a word of caution. Valentine's Day is Saturday. Do not have an AI ghostwrite your Valentine's Day message, says Fast Company. And if you do, never admit it. How many people you think are going to do that? I think millions.
I think some people might be better off doing that.
Some people would be.
A friend of mine who'll sometimes call me whenever he needs like relationship advice. He'd been seeing this woman for, I don't know, like a month or two or something. And I think she sent him some long text that was ultimately like breaking up with him. And he wanted to respond. He then sent me a screenshot of his response. And I was like, oh, Steve, that was a well-written response. He was like, oh, thanks, ChatGPT. And I was like, ChatGPT did that whole cloth? He's like, no, I wrote what I thought should be my response. Then I had it rewrite it. And we went back and forth a couple different times. But I thought that was quite funny. I was like, well, it was a good one. You got to a good one eventually.
See, you still need humans in the loop.
I go to Stanford, where they have in the next version of the Zuckerberg Facebook, they have AI pairing 5,000 signals all over the Stanford campus, line 163.
Well, and there is a AI matchmaker, which has a very strange name, 3-day rule.
Terrible
we talked
name.
about this last week.
Oh, yeah. We did. That's right. Yeah. Never mind. Okay. I think we can wrap things up unless you would like to prolong the agony with your own stories.
I hate agony.
Last week I kind of Benito at the end said, "Let Jarvis sleep."
Are you feeling a little better this week, Jeff?
How are your bones?
Well, I just found out that my infection is also in my spine.
That's not where you want an infection to be.
No,
What does that mean?
So I have a blood infection through my blood, and then I had an MRI yesterday, and a very long tube, by the way. The MRIs I've known are bad enough. There's this tube you're in, and you kind of can't see anything. And this thing was longer than I am tall.
Wow.
So
you had
Do you think they were trying to remind you of a tunnel?
You had the tube for the plus size, man.
Yeah, I did.
The special tube.
Christ.
The one thing I never realized about AI is about
AI.
MRIs. I can't talk anymore. I got to get Claude to do it. One of the things I realized about MRIs, they're very loud. Even when you put the headphones on and you play the music so you don't go deaf, they're still clunk. And what is that banging? It's worse than a radiator in a Brooklyn apartment. It's
why
bang,
don't you ask
bang.
Claude? Ask Claude now.
Oh,
ask the clanker about the clonks. Clanker on clonk.
What's the story with the clonks?
It's extremely loud. And
I'm sorry, Jeff. So does they have to? Is there an antibiotic that goes?
No,
I'm
on the
bones?
same. I'm on the same antibiotic in any case, but it might be out longer.
It's just harder for it to do the job.
The doctor said this could be 6 months.
How do you stop you from getting sepsis?
Oh, I'm not going to ask.
But it did. My hope is that next week I'll be able to sit in a chair so I can go back on the Mac and the microphone. I'm going to work up to that.
Yikes! Schmikes.
That's
so. Tell me, why are MRIs so noisy? What is all that clanking?
All that clanking and banging you hear is really the machine switching magnetic gradients on and off super fast. The MRI uses these gradients to encode spatial information, but each time the coils switch, they generate physical vibrations. In other words, it's essentially the sound of rapid mechanical energy from the magnetic field snapping into place. So it's all physics, just very loud physics.
Oh, thanks.
Very loud physics.
That was actually really good. I don't know where that voice came from, but that was really good. And very fast. Yeah. I'm telling you, these things are getting better. All right. You get to pick any article you want, anything you want.
Should we do picks of the week?
We could do picks of the week if you want to do that. That would be the final stage of the show. I would, before we do that, have to take a break.
I just wanted to be cognizant of our friend Jeff, who just told us about the infection in his spine.
I'm okay. I'm doing all right.
Yeah.
Well, you choose, Jeff. More articles or picks of the week?
We can do one article each. How's that?
That's
you
great.
Pick first.
Let's see.
I'll pick one.
Okay, do it.
The Saudi Arabian 100-mile line is falling apart. It's called NEOM. And it's
where all the influencers were hanging out and eating in one big cafeteria.
It was supposed to cost $1.5 trillion. It's a disaster.
Surprise.
So according to new reporting from the Financial Times, the Saudi government is now considering downsizing the linear city so it can instead turn it into a hub for data centers. Of course.
Why do they keep building data centers in the hottest places? Can't we put a data center in like a cool to neutral place?
I'm disappointed. I thought this was such a cool idea.
You thought that was cool?
The whole idea was it was a 100-mile city, very narrow but very long, so that you could have a train that goes from one end to the other. So, and it would have little independent submodules that were like towns. And it would be very easy to go back and forth. It was a little impractical because it was in the middle of the desert on the Red Sea, covered an area the size of Belgium. It was just a
little impractical.
Big project. But I was kind of rooting for him. I thought that's a kind of interesting idea. I guess it just never really took off. So now they're just going to do a much smaller portion of it, and it's going to be for data centers. They launched it in 2017. It's been going for 9 years.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Like, what's the record of planned cities like this anyway? Like how many have been made and actually successful?
Well,
besides
Brasilia
Levittown? There's
Brasilia was
Epcot.
built.
Yeah, there was Disney built a Homecoming USA or something. They had a city they built.
Yeah, they've got developments. Yeah, well, there was Fordlandia.
What's Fordlandia?
Oh, what a great
Fordlandia.
story! Yeah.
The classic company town.
Yeah,
Built by Henry Ford. Huh?
Yes, for
Yes.
rubber plantation.
Celebration. That's the Disney thing. So the line was going to run 170 kilometers from the Red Sea over desert mountains to a ski resort that was going to host the Asian Winter Games in 2029, and an industrial zone known as Oxagon. Trohana, which will be downsized, will not be hosting the Winter Games as scheduled. It's I don't know. I like ambitious, but you're right. It's crazy. That was my
story about Fordlandia in the chat.
I love Portlandia.
Fordlandia.
Fordlandia. Fordlandia. Oh, it was in Brazil.
Yeah.
Fordlandia.
Remembering that Henry Ford is a terrible fascist and racist.
Right. Fordlandia, deep in the Amazon. Yeah, something happens to people's minds when they become filthy rich.
Oh, Musk wants to build AI factories on the moon. Yeah.
Yeah. It's not Mars anymore. It's the moon, kids.
He's pretty much Henry Ford, yeah.
It's on the way. Here's a statue of a man harvesting rubber next to Fordlandia's church. That is a good-looking statue, I tell you. An encroaching forest frames the decaying walls of the Fordlandia Hospital. Wow. This is 2,000 people.
In 1930, workers fed up with eating Ford's diet of oatmeal, canned peaches, and brown rice in a sweltering dining hall staged a full-scale riot.
Oh, gosh. I don't blame them.
They smashed time clocks, cut electricity to the plantation, and chanted, "Brazil for Brazilians, kill all the Americans."
Oh, God. Okay.
I mean,
these are company towns, though. Company towns are never going to survive.
No. I owe my soul to the company store. Paris, did you have anything you wanted?
I had a pick, which is that this week the first trial in the social media addiction lawsuits started.
Yeah, we've been talking a little bit about that. Yep.
I mean, I covered this litigation quite a bit back in my previous beat. It's, I don't know, kind of interesting just because it's like a very novel and interesting legal argument. It's essentially taking aspects of kind of mass tort law that came about in response to kind of big tobacco and asbestos cases, and using that sort of product liability lens to argue that companies like Meta or YouTube or TikTok intentionally created addictive products targeted at children and ignored kind of internal research and warning signs that their kind of the addictive nature of the products was causing a harm to minor users.
Yeah, and I think they're going to prove that point. There's lots of smoking guns that these companies knew they were creating something addictive. I think it's going to come down to, it's a jury trial, remember, in Los Angeles. I think what's going to come down to is whether the jury buys the idea that social media addiction is a real addiction like cigarettes, heroin, gambling, etc. And I think it's going to be harder to prove that.
It's hard to prove that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's lots of research that says it's not. There's lots of history about arguing that the internet is addictive when it was just made up, it was fictional.
Yeah.
People made money off of it. Depends on how good the lawyers are. All right, I have a very quick one.
Yeah, and I was going to say this has just been this is the first bellwether case of, I believe there are like 9 bellwethers, which are kind of like the strongest or most emblematic cases, as part of a MDL, which I believe is like it's some sort of like mass litigation that essentially bundles like hundreds and hundreds and hundreds, like I think the last time I checked, it was like 600 some. I'm sure it's well over.
So it's not a class action.
So
Each one
it's
is
not
an
a class
individual
action. Basically, it's all of these individual actions that they're like, it would be burdensome to deal with
So they
all of
mush them
these and
together.
all the
Yeah,
different
yeah.
district courts. They're mushed together in this court in California, and the decisions on these 9 cases will have profound effects for, I mean, as these started to kind of get bundled together and as courts didn't immediately dismiss them, which is what all of these companies immediately tried to have happen as the cases started
and
to
if that
stick and we're going
snapped-
to go to trial. That's when you started to see all of the changes we've seen over the last couple of years in terms of how these large companies are handling like teen accounts or making changes. Snapchat has lost one of these, a much smaller, narrower suit. But that was kind of the first nail in the coffin for these companies.
Snap and TikTok, I think, settled right before the trial began.
Yeah, I think so.
But Meta and YouTube are still on the hook.
And YouTube is arguing that they're not a social network.
They said we're not even a social
Yeah.
network; we're an entertainment site. So this really is going to come down to I think they can prove that companies knew that their algorithms were creating a form of addiction, that they were creating repeat behaviors, and I think that they knew it. There's no question. It really is going to come down to, is that an addiction though that you can? I mean, can you not stop doing it? Can you, even though you know there's adverse consequences like cigarettes and heroin? Can you?
And is it
not
edge
stop
case?
it?
Is it true of everyone? Does it exacerbate something that already exists?
Right.
And I mean, I think the thing that is going to make this interesting is unlike, well, I mean, I guess more similarly to tobacco, that there's ostensibly a wealth of information inside these companies measuring this very thing.
And a lot of
Well,
academic research.
They don't measure. That's what they're going to say is, we're not measuring addiction, just how sticky it is. We're just measuring.
I know,
what
but
can we
that's
do
going
to
to be
make
kind
it
of the thing is
attractive?
like a large part of it is optimizing for maximum engagement
But
and
wait,
optimizing
so when you
for-
went to that restaurant, they optimized it to make you love that food.
Yes, but some
Yes.
of the things that I believe I'm going to beef the specifics in this, but I believe one of the details cited in an earlier lawsuit of this was something about the fact they were like, yeah, in one case they were optimizing for minor users how many times during the period where they'd normally think they're going to be sleeping, how many times can they get someone to pick up their phone and spend 5 minutes or more on it? Like, that seems...
Yeah, but you know what? McDonald's does everything they can to make you crave a Big Mac, down to their advertising, down to putting toys. But I think it'd be really hard to go and sue McDonald's saying my kid is fat and has heart disease because of your addictive product. I think in this country, that's going to would be a hard thing.
Well, I mean, that's what we're going to see these lawyers try and argue. It'll be interesting
Every
to see
media
how
company
everybody...
using A/B tests.
Yeah, everybody.
Headlines.
I'm the only media company that doesn't try to optimize. We try to make our shows actively
I mean, it's similar
horrible.
to like slot machines at casinos,
Incredibly
It's
long.
that sort
I
of
want to
addiction
read every
mechanic.
damn article. I want to bore you to tears. We make no
If Jeff and I weren't here, we'd
you.
still be listening to him reading
I'd still
that
be
blog
reading.
post.
Page 5.
What?
No, I agree with you, Paris. We've been kind of sort of covering it. They did jury selection last week. We will definitely be talking about this as it goes. I would like to know who they got as a jury and all that. We won't know that till after the trial, but that's going to be telling also. Who they rejected, who they got. Will they be people who are sophisticated about technology, or will they be people who aren't? This is going to be very interesting. I know who I'd like to be on the jury for each side, right?
Line 129. Man down.
129.
This is quick.
Watch Amazon. Watch an Amazon delivery drone crash in North Texas. It actually crashed into an apartment building.
Yeah.
Hard. And smashed
There it goes
itself.
in pieces coming down now.
Yeah. Amazon said we're going to fix any damage that occurred. Fortunately, nobody was hit by the falling debris. But this is one of the Amazon Prime's newest drones. There it is. It's a big thing. If that hit you in the head, when it came down, that could cause an injury.
That can
so
absolutely kill
Amazon's
somebody.
fixing the building, but
That can kill somebody.
yeah. Richardson, Texas. Cesarina Johnson, who captured the collision from her window, told USA Today the collision seemed to happen almost immediately after she began to record the drone in action. I was just initially recording and get the drone on camera because it's the first time I'd seen one. I didn't realize it was about to crash. Man down, she says, just seconds after the drone flies out of sight.
That would be me.
Wait a minute,
honestly.
I gotta play the audio. I wonder if the audio's on this. Oh, now, unfortunately, USA Today
Now
is
we're
now
watching
gone to
a
hilarious
officer have some winter
snow
fun.
tube things. Let's see if we get the audio here.
Uh-oh. That does not sound good. Oh, oh my God.
Wow, it even makes futuristic sounds.
Yeah.
I don't like that at all.
Oh, it's hammering its propellers against the cement. Yeah, I just don't. I like the idea of drone delivery at all, but that's something I will agree with you on.
Back in my day, we used
Back
to
in my
pay people on a gig working app to deliver your groceries.
Yeah. Groceries or COVID tests and Zagnat bars.
Hey, now they've got a combo COVID flu RSV test.
I know.
And I'm sure you could get
and RSV.
And RSV.
Oh, it's got all of
you
the
can
above.
check to see if you've got really sick vibes from the comfort of your home.
I don't feel so good. Ladies and gentlemen, we thank you so much for being here. We're going to get to our picks of the week in just a second, but I do want to thank our Club Twit members who make this show possible. You are the special people who get ad-free versions of all the shows, get access to the Club Twit Discord. You get to hang out in the special shows we have, like our AI user group and our photography show, our travel show with Johnny Jett. We got the book club with Stacy. There's so much fun stuff going on in the club. But the real reason to join the club, it keeps us afloat. Advertising dollars have shrunk for podcast networks like ours. It's kind of a tough time, frankly, for podcast networks. But fortunately, we've got a great audience of people who really care about the shows. If you're one of them, twit.tv/clubtwit. We'd love to see you. There's a 2-week free trial if you want to just see what it's all about, see what's going on in the Discord. There's also family plans and corporate memberships as well. Ad-free versions of all the shows are the chief benefit, but the real benefit is the warm, fuzzy feeling you get knowing that you're keeping Twit on the air. Twit.tv/clubtwit. Thanks in advance. And I'm going to do a little quick pick, just a little one. Understanding Neural Networks. This is a beautiful website. Click the right side of the screen to go forward. If you've wondered how transformers work, we've referred to Andrei Kapothi's videos, and there are books and so forth. But this is a really cool visual illustration that explains how neural networks train and understand, and how this kind of amazing technology that powers all the AI we're using these days works. So just thought I'd mention it. Visual Rambling.
It's a very pretty website, too.
Yeah, nicely done. Probably vibe coded. I don't know. Here's an example of the earliest thing. This is actually what was it that was started with this? Was it Hinton? I can't remember. Was recognizing hand.
That was Jan LeCun.
It was Jan LeCun. Okay, recognizing numbers. Yeah. So if you're curious, I think this is a really good description. Technically accurate, a little simplified, but it gives you the idea of what's going on. It's kind of amazing if you think about it. Visualrambling.space. Paris Martineau, how about a pick of the week from you?
I've got a pick of the week, which started last week when listener Jeff of Burnt AI responded to my call, which, as you may recall, I said, I've said this before, I'll say it again. If AI is so good, someone use it to go through all the transcripts of this here show and put together Leo's history of AI based on the clips. And so Jeff did that. Leo's AI journey, which I've posted. I think it's a very interesting overview. But as I was,
he started with.
I mean, that's pretty interesting.
Wow.
It went back. But as I was looking through this, I realized there was not enough mentions or any mentions of the Sandman. So I, as you mentioned earlier in the show, I thought I was going to save it to later, had Claude go through and do that and put together a timeline of all the references it found in its search for the sand origins, which is not as prettily put together as Jeff's, but I thought it was fun. So, if you want to go back through Leo's own history, you can do it now.
We'll put them in the show notes. And you did find the key.
I do really think it's just funny that immediately Jeff and I hopped on, we're going to make this a reoccurring bit. I mean, a week or two after this, we were like, making fun of you, being like, it's because you took that walk with Sam Mossman, right? Or Jason Kaki, and you've been radicalized. And I like that Claude describes its note, Sam Mossman and Jason Kaki are AI transcription gargles. Paris had already guessed Calcanus and Sam Altman in the previous one she was teasing Leo with.
Yeah, so that's interesting. I mean, I think that's kind of a very good example of connecting the dots in a way that AI could not do until very recently.
Yeah. Yep.
Similarly, it's able to identify that on March 5th, 2025, you used the sandy shoes metaphor as a denial of being influenced, saying, I don't have any sand in my shoes.
Wow, this is surprisingly complete. It listened. Did you give it a link? How did you?
Well, so what I did originally is I will go through it right here. I plugged in Jeff's website. I said, I'd like you to go through transcripts from my podcast, Intelligent Machines, nay, This Week in Google, and find the episodes where Leo first described taking a walk in the sand with a VC who said AI was the future. It was absolutely in the This Week in Google days, and likely back when Ant was still a co-host with us, or around that time period. Here's an example of one of the transcripts, and I linked to the transcript for 855 so that it could get a sense of where that was in the URL. And I said, and an overview of Leo's AI journey by what I assume is another Claude instance. And then it went back through the 800s, couldn't find anyone. Then it went back through it. This chat was so long that I'm always discovering new errors that I've never experienced in Claude before. This one it had been compressed too many times to continue to exist. So I had to start a new one. It went back to 770, found another callback, not because I took a walk on the beach. Then it started to get confused with the fact that it thought callbacks meant that it existed after that. And I had to get it. At one point, which is, I think, something that I hadn't seen in previous instances of Claude, it basically was spinning its wheels, going through dozens and dozens of transcripts and said, okay, Paris, I've now done a pretty exhaustive pass through of the transcripts archive, and I want to give you an honest status report rather than continuing to spin wheels.
I love that.
The original telling of the beach walk story follows in a narrow window between twit 762 and 766. This was wrong because, as I said before, it told me I haven't been able to find it. The problem is it might not have debuted on Twig at all. Leo hosts multiple shows. It's possible the original detailed telling happened somewhere else. It could be somewhere else.
Nice
it was
try,
Brentford so
Claude.
casually on this. What might still work, I found this funny. It says, I'd given no other information than what I just read to you guys. It said, if you want to pin this down definitively, the most efficient path is probably just asking Leo or checking with the Twit production team, such as John or Anthony, who might remember. And Benito correctly pointed out, I guess this means Claude thinks that he won't be able to help me.
Well, maybe it didn't
John
know Benito's
and Anthony.
name. I know.
I mean, I don't know, but how did it know John or Anthony's names?
Who knows? We live in interesting times. That's all I can say. Well, I think it's good. This is the kind of experimentation I was recommending. This is really good. You get, Try stuff. Give it a hard problem. See what happens. Jeff Jarvis, pick of the week.
So I was going to do something serious about capital and labor, but I'm not going to do that.
Oh,
I think we have, because I'm too zonked. So I think we might have two friends on the Twit network who had associations with Super Bowl commercials.
I think you're right.
No, Ant was not a Bush. But if you
it wasn't a Bush. Oh shoot, was he in the Super Bowl? It wasn't a Bush. But if you look at his Facebook, which I linked to there, okay,
can you get into Facebook because you're mean and you left Facebook?
No, I was trying to go to LinkedIn.
Or was LinkedIn? LinkedIn. Sorry, LinkedIn,
I do have a LinkedIn account, but it's not logged. It's not letting me in. I have to go sign in.
Well, of course you do.
Well, I tried to sign in on the sign up page. I hate it when that happens.
Oh, I see.
So, right. So let me go back. Now that I've signed in, of course, it's lost the thread and gave me just the front page. So let's go to Ant's post.
So read Ant's post.
Okay. Oh, he was in the Samsara Super Bowl ad.
So he says, I appreciated hiring me for the Super Bowl commercial. Go off the screen. No, go back so we read the rest of it because it's important.
Oh. Yeah. Check it out. Hire me if you're looking for a model to help with your promotional products.
Oh, well, no, go to the most recent post. Because in the most recent post, he said,
I am not as command worthy. Oh, he was an extra.
I ended up being an expensive extra after.
He was edited out after rewrites.
No, I don't think so. But he's still an extra.
No, he was an extra.
He didn't have a line. I get it. He must have had a line in the first one.
I think I see Ant. I'm curious whether I went into the chat. He's not in the chat.
It seems like his post suggests that he was originally had lines, but it was rewritten out.
So get ready. This is the Toyota ad.
You're going to see a coach in the deep background.
Okay.
That I swear has Ant's profile. Give it a minute.
Okay. And the other one, of course, is Salt Hank, who also got one of his two appearances. Oh, was that it?
Okay, right there. That one.
Yeah. You're a little behind.
I'm betting that was Ant.
Right there. Let's
right
zoom
there.
in.
You think?
Enhance.
You think?
Center. Enhance. Center. Enhance. Center. Enhance.
That's absolutely him.
On our screens in the Super Bowl.
Yeah.
That he got about as much time on camera as Salt Hank did in the Hellman's mayonnaise commercial. So that's two of them. That's awesome. Good for you.
Isn't that great?
You know, the nice thing is you get paid no matter how much screen time you get.
Yeah.
I love it. Well, that's a great find. Thank you. And congratulations, Ant. That's wonderful. We are all done for the week. We do Intelligent Machines Wednesdays right after Windows Weekly. That's 15.
Did you use your own mute button?
It's 1400 Pacific time, 1700 East Coast time.
See, doesn't it just roll off the tongue?
2 p.m. Pacific, 5 p.m. Eastern, so much easier.
O'clock.
And it is 2200 o'clock UTC. We stream it live. If you're in the club, of course, you can see it in the Discord, but there's also YouTube, Twitch, x.com, LinkedIn, Facebook, and Kick. There you go. And you can watch it live, but you don't have to watch it live because on-demand versions of the show available at our website, audio and video, twit.tv/IM. There's video on the YouTube channel, and you can subscribe in your favorite podcast client. Did you have a review to read, Paris Martineau, or did we read it on the show last week? I think we read them. We
did read a lot of the reviews in the show last week,
good.
perhaps right as we were wrapping up. I could check to see if there's others.
It's okay. It's okay. Well, save it for next week because Jeff seems to be fading fast. Mr. Jarvis, there's a cacio e pepe with your name on it sitting outside your kitchen window where it's frozen solid.
I was about to say, it's wafted like a pie. It actually was above 32 degrees today briefly in New York City.
Yeah.
Huge.
My favorite
it snowed again, didn't it? Like
just,
it was, it's
no,
incredible.
not really.
Briefly. There were a couple, not in any accumulating way.
Oh, okay. Okay.
The meme going around is some guy yelling at just saying, "Melt already."
Melt. I know that.
It is grim out
February is
there.
the worst back east. It's just it's grim. It's cold. You're ready for spring, and you have my sympathy.
So tomorrow, because I've got to get exercise, I've got to exercise this thing. I've only driven once in the last month for 5 minutes to make sure that I could.
That's my kind of exercise, driving.
Tomorrow, I'm going to drive to the mall, and I'm going to be a mall walker.
Oh, you're going to be a mall walker. You know, where are all
gotta
the
get an
mall
Auntie
walkers
Anne's
going to walk?
pretzel.
Yeah, get
I
an
think I
Auntie Anne's
might.
pretzel. Yeah.
Send us a photo.
Orange Julius.
Go Forever 21, get your ears pierced. It'll be great. You're going to
Go to
have a
Hot
great
Topic.
time.
Get a T-shirt as
Get
a treat.
T-shirt. Go to Lids, get a funny hat. With the same,
I think we still have an Arthur Treacher's fish and chips.
Oh, yum, yum, yum. Does anybody remember Arthur Treacher?
No. It
I've
was a
never even
weird
heard that
brand.
name.
He was the second banana in the eighth
On the Merv
banana.
Griffin show. He used to say,
Yeah.
and now here's the dear boy himself, Marvin.
This sounds like you're making up a show to reference the catch.
No.
If I had to algorithmically generate a reference you guys would make to confuse me, it would be that.
You know,
And so out of
Second
nowhere,
banana
somebody came
announcer.
along and created a chain of Arthur Treacher fish and chips
it
restaurants.
just shows you celebrity is a funny thing.
Yeah. It was always
funny
crappy.
thing.
And nobody likes fish and chips in the U.S.
Well, some people do.
Well, they're imports.
This is Merv Griffin.
They love it in Seattle.
He was the most relaxed TV show host in the world. He invented Jeopardy, though, so he was a very, very wealthy man.
Fortune. Is that
Huh?
Peggy Cass to the right?
Yeah, Peggy Cass. They're sitting at a
Who
desk.
had no idea what she was ever famous for except for being on these shows.
It's kind of wild. It's kind of wild. You should
look, Leo. You should do that look.
I like the little neckerchief instead of
Yeah, I like that.
a necktie.
We should all wear that
cravat.
next week.
It's a cravat.
Can we all cravat, Max?
What? How did
Can
that?
you make a custom? Can you get Can Claude make us custom cravats?
Actually, it was right at about this time. I was in middle school, and I went to a boys' school in Providence where you had to wear a necktie in 7th and 8th grade. But around this time, around 1969, things were loosening up. And they said, okay, kids, you don't have to wear a necktie. If you wish, with your blazer, you can wear a turtleneck or an ascot.
Oh, how to get beaten up on the way to school.
And I did wear an ascot because free at
You
last,
wanted to feel
free at last.
So at that same age, Leo,
Yes.
I desperately wanted to wear a Nehru jacket.
Yes.
My parents thought it was terrible. No. And then they finally said okay when Johnny Carson wore one. And
That's
I said, well,
right.
of course, now I don't want one.
Do you know what a Nehru jacket is?
No.
No. So it was named after the Prime Minister of India. Was it Jawaharlal Nehru?
Oh.
And he wore these. That's not really.
It was like the Beatles wore
That would
them. It
fit
was-
like
it
one
was-
of your. Yeah, I'm looking at the Beatles photo right now. It was
Yeah,
kind
they
of a
wore Nehru
workman,
jackets.
like a workman's
Yeah.
jacket.
Yeah.
like my German jacket, too.
Jawaharlal Nehru. Yeah, I actually would like. I have a fetish for that kind of weird thing to wear ascots and Nehru jackets and.
Can we all get a fun
Capes.
uniform and show up one time and match? Wear like a hot, like a neon yellow boiler suit or something. With
I
intelligent
have
machines
ordered.
on it.
Oh, yeah. When I worked at Clock Radio back in the day, we all had the slogan was "The Man from Clock."
I'm just
They didn't have any-
imagining it's a radio show where you just say the time every minute.
They didn't have any female DJs. I was a DJ at KLOK, Clock Radio in San Jose, and they had the slogan was "The Man from Clock." And we all had the worst mustard yellow blazers they had
Oh, yeah, you've shown that.
a patch that said "Clock" on it.
That's pretty cool.
The Man from Clock. I guess it was a takeoff of The Man from Uncle.
When
No, I still have a
Entertainment
fetish
Weekly
for
in a
that
house.
weird stuff. I used to wear capes in high school, and I.
Were you-
and I-
you were
God, I
goth
wish I
before
was
goth?
wearing a cape in high school. I would have killed to wear a cape.
well, you were a goth, right? So you were wearing
Yeah.
like What?
Yeah.
Torn stockings and needles through your nose or something. Safety pins.
Probably, yeah.
Yeah. No, you know what you were wearing. You can tell us.
Yeah, I remember I once really got into wearing striped stockings until I wore them to a Magic the Gathering meetup, and a bunch of creepy dudes commented on it, and I was like, I have to leave.
No, there's something about striped stockings. They're very, very sexy. I don't know why.
As I learned that day in
I don't know what it is about stripes.
Did you play Magic the Gathering, Jess?
Yeah, I did.
In striped stockings.
Back in the day, in striped stockings.
And the nerds got a little
And the
overused.
nerds got me off both striped stockings and Magic the Gathering.
Yeah, that's why there are no more women playing that game.
Oh, God, I'm so sorry. I would have been one of them. Jeff Jarvis, he is a professor emeritus of journalistic innovation at CUNY. So you can catch his act at SUNY Stony Brook. He'll be waving a cane at the Linotype. His newest book, Hot Type, is available for pre-release ordering from jeffjarvis.com. Of course, there's also the Gutenberg parenthesis and magazine. And I can't wait till Hot Type comes out. We'll have to interview you for that show. That'll be good. Paris Martineau is an investigative reporter at Consumer Reports, where she is working on something so deep, so
revealing.
So revealing. We can't even mention it on
Can't even talk about it, you know.
It will blow the lid off of,
something. Hold on. Look who's down here.
Gizmo, one last appearance.
Gizmo, how do you respond to the allegations about your app?
Radiator cat.
She is pretty warm from the radiator. I can feel it on her chest. And now I'm covered in hair.
Thank you so much, Paris. And thank you so much, Jeff. Thanks to all of our listeners, especially to our Club Twit members. We'll see you next Wednesday on Intelligent Machines. Bye-bye. Hey, everybody, it's Leo Laporte. You know about Mac Break Weekly, right? You don't? Oh, if you're a Macintosh fan or you just want to keep up what's going on with Apple, this is the show for you. Every Tuesday, Andy Anako, Alex Lindsay, Jason Snell, and I get together and talk about the week's Apple news. It's an easy subscription. Just go to your favorite podcast client and search for Mac Break Weekly, or visit our website, twit.tv/MBW. You don't want to miss a week of Mac Break Weekly.